Kapanen's 7th goal of the year. At that point, 3-0. Unfortunately, the shutout bid for Trevor Kidd's disrupted in the third period. Sergei Nemchinov scores here. That's his 4th goal on the year. Carolina Hurricanes, 21 save performance by Trevor Kidd. 20 saves for Salo at the other end. The Hurricanes defeat the Islanders by a score of 3-1. This past Wednesday, I was refereeing in the Ontario Hockey Association a Junior C game between Glenbrook and Chippewa, and I went to the arena and they said, could you sign some autographs after the game for the kids? I said, be no problem, I'm a big star. Look at the assistant coach for Chippewa in that game, right over here. Can you see this? Assistant coach, they lost 4-2, unfortunately. Should have won the game, I thought, because they outshot them 31-21, Chippewa. But Marcel Dion was assistant coach. His son Drew plays for the team, and pretty impressive to see the Little Beaver assistant coach at a Junior C hockey game. If you think there's anything wrong with Canadian hockey, go see Glenbrook at the Bimbrook Arena or Chippewa, and you'll see we got nothing to worry about, in my opinion. Two early telecasts for viewer in the province of Quebec. You're off to the Molson Centre. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Montreal Canadiens collide. The rest of the nation convenes at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. The Ottawa Senators try to win their 5th in a row against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Donald S. Cherry joins me after Labatt Saturday night.
You are watching CBC Television.
Quebec Election 98, a News Watch special, Monday at 7:30.
Here's Recchi and Lemieux's in, and Recchi scores! Recchi!
From freshman in the Steel City to Iron Man in Montreal, Mark Recchi meets his old team tonight, and Mark's not alone.
2-on-1 for the Kings, maybe 3-on-1. Gretzky in, and a great stop there by Damian Rhodes.
Never given equal opportunity in Toronto, Damian Rhodes is now gamefully used in Ottawa, and he leads his Sens against his former employer tonight.
Chance to center, chance to the blue line, chance the move, chance the goal!
Man who tried to make a name for himself in Chicago was finally hawked to his home province, and now Calgary cheers Jeff Shantz. 3 men with something to prove face their friends, the enemy. Tonight, Hockey Night in Canada all across the nation. For Quebec, it's Pittsburgh and the Montreal Canadiens. The Habs, losers of 6 of their last 7, have to get it going, but they're hurt. And the Ottawa Senators meet the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Gardens. That's for viewers everywhere but the province of Quebec. The Sens fell 2-1 here in Toronto the last time out, but they are red hot. And incidentally, that's Jeff and Scott and John from Kingston, your hometown.
Oh, Kingston, all right. All right, I got news for you. You know that Curtis Joseph has never lost to the Senators? Did you know that?
No, I did not.
His record is 9-0, and his average is 1.44. And did you know that the Leafs have won the last 5 home games? You didn't know that either?
Yes, you did.
Oh.
I knew that, but I didn't know.
And you know the NHL is led by the Leafs with 71 goals?
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Ottawa's they got 4 games in hand, and they're right
Doesn't
there.
make any difference. They're leading the league. Detroit's next, and then there's Phoenix, I think. No, Phoenix
Sure.
is the best thing. But anyhow, Detroit, no, who's the third club? I forget the third club.
Eventually, I have no idea. But
Anyhow,
we'll
that's
work on
pretty
that.
good, leading the league. The last year at this time, they have now 71 goals. Last year they had 45 goals, so they're really smoking.
So that begs the question then, if Pat knew Cujo owned Ottawa, why did he play him in Philadelphia yesterday? Why did he give Felix a start?
Well, I don't know. You'll have to ask Pat.
Just kidding, Pat. That was a
You know
tremendous
why?
game.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because he knew he puts Felix in, and, you know, the odds are they're going to lose in Philly, right? So he puts him in. Maybe Felix will come up with a great game. I used to do it against Cheevers. Home, he wants to win, so he puts his best goalie in because this should be a jersey tonight.
But didn't you used to throw Gilles Gilbert to the Wolves in Philadelphia?
Absolutely, the same way as he threw Felix to the
No,
Wolves.
he threw Cujo. I'm sorry, I'm confused you. You're busy with
Oh,
your
well,
ice
there
stats.
you are.
I'm
See?
throwing you off. That's okay. I know you're hired
supposed to know that stuff.
I did know. What I was asking was how come he didn't go with Felix?
Well,
like
then
you would have
maybe
done.
that's the same thing. We'll see. Maybe now he made a big mistake. I was coach of the year. He was only coach of the year once. I would have played Felix there and then come back with Cujo, because you want to always win at home. You play better at home. This should be a cinch if they had Cujo in.
They do. Just to continue the confusion. No, Cujo's playing both games.
Oh.
But I'd have done like you suggested. You got any thought of Pittsburgh, Montreal? Forget it, yeah. You'd have maybe talked about the Pens and the Habs, and we'd have been a little straighter on all this. There's Jaromir Jagr. He's a European captain. Saku Koivu might become one. Vinny Damphou's having a bad back. And the Ottawa Senators are here in Toronto, where I assure you it's Damian Rhodes against Curtis Joseph.
You're sure about this?
I think I'm sure. I know that the Leafs are hot at home, and the Sens everywhere.
You didn't bring a puck, did you?
No.
Hey, you guys thirsty?
A whole lot can happen out of the blue. Labatt Blue.
Back to Luxov, to Mikhailov, a shot. Great save.
Russians.
Oh, baby.
Introducing the all-new 1999 Windstar. All right, come on, don't be shy. With a 200 horsepower, 3.8-liter V6 engine, vroom. 2 sliding doors, quad captain chairs, air conditioning, and 7, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 passenger seating, plus tilt steering, cruise control, power door locks, mirrors, windows, for, wait for it, $339 a month. Hey, the all-new 1999 Windstar LX at $339 a month. They're going fast at your very generous Ford dealers and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
Save hundreds at Future Shop's Everything's on Sale sale. Now through Monday, all computers, audio video, major appliances, and cellular phones are on sale. IBM computers just $9.99. 25-inch Samsung stereo TVs just $369. And GE's 19 cubic foot top mount fridge only $9.99. Plus, purchase a ClearNet PCS phone and receive one of 3 special gifts and be entered to win an African safari. Hurry, because everything's on sale only until Monday. Only at Future Shop.
On CBC, Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Labatt Blue. A whole lot can happen out of the blue. And by Ford. For now, forever.
Welcome back to Montreal, where the Canadiens are hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins, the home team having lost 6 of its last 7 games. When Saku Koivu first played for the Montreal Canadiens, he gave early indications of becoming a franchise player. But then injuries happened, and in the past 3 years, he has been consistently body-checked out of the lineup. This season, no change. Yesterday in Boston, Koivu was back in action after missing 12 games because of a stomach muscle injury, scoring his team's only goal in a 5-1 loss. He rejoins a slumping club trying to get back on track.
Well, it's I guess the team confidence is not that high right now. You know, lately we have some bad games. We lost some games, and but like yesterday we played great 40 minutes, and after that they scored 4 goals in less than 10 minutes. So it's tough, but I'm sure this team, we have enough talent to be successful in this league, and what we need now is a couple of good games, and I hope the slump is over soon.
Well, Saku Koivu is back from his stomach injury, but Scott Thornton is not. More serious with surgery. But Scott, you tell me you're a little ahead of schedule.
I think so right now. The initial prognosis was anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks, and so far I think I'm about a week ahead of schedule, and it's been going well. I'm starting to do a little light workout in the gym right now, and if everything goes well, I should be skating soon.
You're not accustomed to being out this long, you tell me. What's it like? What's the frustration like? Must be awful.
It's, you know, it's something different than we're not used to. Obviously, we have time off in the summer, but this time of the year, we're used to going at it every day, and, you know, our team's been slumping a little bit right now, and it's difficult to watch the guys go through that. And I wish I could be out there to try and help them.
Well, Scott, it's obvious they do, too. Good luck and get back as soon as you can.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Scott Thornton. Well, okay, from downstairs we go upstairs to a man who, from a successful call of a great Cup game, joins us now back in hockey. Here's Chris Gunter. Chris.
Thank you, Dick. Great to be back at the Molson Center. Great to have John Davidson at my side. There's Tom Barrasso, the winningest U.S.-born netminder. He gets the call for Pittsburgh tonight. Canadiens need a big game out of Jose Theodore. Gets his first start in 4. Dave King said he had a sparkle in his eye this morning. We'll see if that translates into a big game. And great to have Paul Stewart back officiating here. He started 15 days ago in a game between Pittsburgh and New Jersey.
Chris, as this game starts, Montreal starts a unit of 5 that has actually 3 defensemen on it. And they're playing a 1-3-1 system to try to shut down the big, strong Yager unit. This will be a tough task for this unit, but it'll be interesting to see if they're able to do it. A 1-3-1. It's a system that's been made famous in Sweden.
And Jonas Höglund is one of the 5 in this defensive alignment for the Canadiens. Yager, Barnes, and Straka have been red hot this year, although Yager, goal-wise, has not been productive of late. He hasn't scored in his last 9 games, his longest drought since his rookie season.
And that was a 16-game streak way back in 1990-91.
Eric Weinrich on the ice and now gives off to Quintal as Weinrich heads to the bench. And Ulanov circles back. Now Malakoff will take it back into his own zone. As both teams have made changes, Turner Stevenson out now with Patrick Poulin. And here's Poulin over center. Ulanov steps up, but he's offside on the play. 1:25 in at the Molson Center, and there is Stewie back from colon cancer surgery 7 months ago.
Prior to the game, he went right over to the benches. He was shaking hands with the coaches. Yes, he's just thrilled to be around. I tell you, Stefan Quintal wishing him well. Mark Recchi went up and wished him well. It's a great story. Positive and how he's able to battle. It was a great story in the pregame show with John Cullen, who's now retired. He was able to beat leukemia. Well, you listen to what he was able to say. Mark Recchi had a lot to do with that. Called him all the time and wished him well. He said Tom Barrasso sent him a great letter to John Cullen about staying with it. Tommy Barrasso's daughter had to battle some leukemia, and she won too.
2 great inspirational stories. Now the big line for the Canadiens is out. Koivu, Recchi, and Savage. And here's Saku Koivu, who looked very sharp in his return to the Canadiens lineup. Recchi takes the shot wide of the net, off the end boards out in front, and picked up and off the glass. Rob Brown unable to clear it. Kip Miller does get it to center.
Chris, for this Koivu line, I think they're going to see a lot of Kasparaitis and Galanov, the defense pairing. And Kasparaitis loves to hit early in games.
Koivu the shot. That's blocked by Kasparaitis. Boy, did he set a tone last night in that game against the Rangers.
A big hit on his first shift on Nedved and then Popovich. Same shift, flattened them both clean hits. Thing with Galanov, his partner, he's got a lot of speed for a defenseman, and he'll have to try to stay with Koivu and his speed.
Ulanov lofting it in from his own side of center. Race for it, and Pittsburgh wins the race. That's an icing call 2.5 minutes in against the Canadiens.
When you think about defensemen from Europe, they're usually quiet guys. Not this guy. Kasparaitis is a hitter. Remember the lick he threw it right into Eric Lindros. This was a clean hit too. Right into the jaw as Eric was looking down at the puck, and Eric was out for a while with a concussion. Then last night, first shift, boom, on Peter Nedved. And that was Nedved's first shift as a Ranger back in Pittsburgh. Same shift, he flattened Popovich. Both clean hits, no penalties. And not only that, but Kasparaitis is also a leader in the locker room. He'll chirp in there and get his players going.
Pittsburgh's got 2 good scoring lines. The second line is out there right now as the shot from Montreal native Bobby Dallas goes wide, and it comes out to center. Turner Stevenson ridden out by Dallas. Jeff Sarowick back behind his own net. He's hounded by Poulin. It comes to Stevenson. Turner Stevenson battling for it there. And now picked up and centered out in front. Sarowick went down, looked like he put his hand on the puck, but they get it out to center ice. Now a pass knocked down by Leg. Robert Leg in, and a big glove stop by Jose Theodore. The first test, and Theodore comes up with a big one.
Say you want to download something from the internet. You can do it at 28.8. You can do it at 56K. Or you can get fast internet technology from Nortel Networks and do it more than 30 times faster. Visit our website and be faster to the net. With the NHL and Nortel Networks, how the world shares ideas.
Now on video.
Talk about the wrong stuff.
Own the year's most romantic.
You stick that in me, I'm gonna stab you in the heart with it.
Uplifting.
This place is like Dr. Seuss's worst nightmare.
And totally heartwarming.
Just let it out.
Blockbuster of the year.
I love this astronaut stuff.
With an all-star cast.
This is who you found to save the planet.
Well, at least they're in good spirits.
Armageddon. Now available to own on video.
The Penguins defensemen Kasparaitis and Galanov will see a lot of Koivu in this game. Up front, if this Yager line doesn't score, watch out for this line. Kovalov, Lang, and Morozov, and they just had a scoring chance, and Theodore came up big.
Pretty good 1-2 punch. Lang with that wrist shot that tied the game with 15 seconds to go last night.
This Penguin team is a wrist shot hockey club. They take more wrist shots than slap shots. Yager, Morozov, Kovalov, Lang, great wrist shots, and we just saw one that Theodore made a great save on. Koivu, by the way, just won the defensive draw, went off the ice.
Here's the captain, Yager, dishing it across. A shot by Wawrinka ricochets into the corner. Puck played up to the line. Hatcher pinching there, and Hoagland can't get it by big Kevin Hatcher. Kept in by the Penguins. Brisebois back in his own zone. Yager picked up the loose puck. Centers it in front. Straka chopped at it wide of the net. And the Canadiens are now able to get it out. Rachinski looked rink wide, too far. And Wawrinka back in his own zone. This is the top pairing for Pittsburgh, Hatcher and Wawrinka. And now Martin Straka picks his way out to center. Straka already this year with 10 goals and 21 points, playing on the line with Yager and Barnes. Yager gets roughed up there by Savage. Brisebois takes it away.
A long shift here for the Pittsburgh line. The Montreal club's has had 2 units on the ice to go against Yager. Now Yager goes for the change.
As Savage sends it into Pittsburgh territory. Hatcher's still out there. He lost it. Mark Recchi in the corner. Hatcher on him quickly. Now Savage picks up the loose puck. He backs it to Recchi. Recchi looking to center it, and Kasparaitis prevents the pass. Kip Miller trying to get it out of there, and now it slides across the line. Recchi touching it, and an offside.
And Hatcher got caught on the ice for a long shift. That may affect him a shift or two down the road. Now we talk about Montreal going against the Yager line. You could see a lot of Weinrich out there against him. Malakoff possibly. Weinrich, we said why? They said because he's got good mobility. He can skate well. So we'll see a lot of that. And then again, Koivu back in the lineup. He'll be playing with Recchi and Savage. Koivu, they hope, will show the speed for 3 periods. In the game yesterday in Boston, he had a lot of speed for 2 periods, and then his conditioning caught up to him and wasn't nearly as effective in the third.
And the Canadiens now have their 4th line out here. Here's Nasreddine hitting the outside of the goal post. Aaron Asham, number 45, a native of Portage La Prairie, Manitoba, on the ice for Montreal in his first ever National Hockey League regular season game. On a 4th line with McCleary and Eric Oud. Kasparaitis behind the net, and he's pasted there by Asham. And they both go down as the puck ends up at center ice.
Chris, that was a great body check. Asham just nailed Kasparaitis. Good, clean, hard hit.
That puck ended up in the Pittsburgh bench, but Asham said that's his game, and boy, was he excited this morning.
And what you see here is a line getting a shift where they generated some forecheck through a body check, and this will earn another shift from the coaching staff. Look at this leg drive right in to Kasparaitis. Great hit. Usually it's the other way around. Kasparaitis usually throws that type of hit. That's a great first shift for the youngster.
That'll clear some of the butterflies.
Oh, yeah, played some junior in Red Deer, Alberta. Halfway between Calgary and Edmonton. Well, that's a good way to start a game. The coaching staff will take real good notice of that and earn another shift.
Looks pretty cool.
Here's the line that has the only good scoring chance so far for Pittsburgh. And again, if Yager's line with Straka and Barnes are being checked into the ice and checked into the ice, this line here can get you. Morozov, Kovalov, and Lang, all 3 skate well, all 3 handle the puck well, and all 3 have great, wonderful wrist shots. Great wrist shots. Kovalov was saying that he was a little tired last night. He hadn't skated for 5 days because of a shoulder problem. And how about the coaching staff? They were thinking about not playing him because he did not know a lot about the system that the Penguins use. And you have to know the system for Kevin Constantine, or you don't play. However, he was in the lineup and got 2 assists.
He probably got the video version of the system and had to learn it in a hurry. Morozov is out at center ice, cruising around there behind the Canadiens' defense pairing, but Quintal comes up with the puck.
Disciplined game so far, only 6 minutes in for Montreal.
Here's Kovalev after it. Poulin comes up with it for the Canadiens. Chopped in by Zoltak. Barrasso plays it off the glass. Knocked down by Stevenson. Turner Stevenson with 5 assists in his last 5 games. Up to Lang. Robert Lang's been dangerous of late. Tried to get it left wing to Kovalev, and the pass didn't get through. Now it's chopped out to center. There's Jeff Soroik. 22 games in the NHL over 9 years. Paid his dues a long time in the minors, and finally looks like he's got a regular job.
The Penguins have some of these last chance players. Robbie Brown may be another one. Last chance at the NHL.
Here's Rive coming out in front, and the shot ends up in the corner. Hoagland puts it in behind the net. Ruchinski is forechecking. Puck off the boards, and away go the Penguins. Martin Straka at center. The back pass to Jágr. Dashing in. Jágr snapped the shot off the goalpost. Jaromir Jágr comes close. Now another shot fired on by Barnes. Theodore makes the save. So he's been good, and he's been lucky in the opening 7 minutes. Now Hatcher back at center. Brad Wawrinka. A lead pass up ahead for Straka again. Straka with good speed. Knocked down on the play. It'll come to Hatcher along the boards. Can't center against Ruchinski. Now it's Jágr. Jágr being hacked at by Rive. He'll spin away. Now Straka takes over. He'll leave it for Hatcher. Penguins cycling along the boards. Now Weinrich up with it. Knocked off his stick by Jágr. Ruchinski, he loses it to Jágr. Couple of Czech Olympic teammates there against the boards, and now heavy hit there by Weinrich. It's spun back and intercepted, and Jonas Hoagland starts back. He rolls it ahead, and now Recchi dashing after it. Here's Mark Recchi. Hatcher got back for Pittsburgh and takes Recchi out in behind Barrasso. Koivu digging for the loose puck. Saku Koivu up with it. Down goes Barrasso. Puck still loose. Koivu still looking for it. Mad scramble. Recchi just rolled it wide. Recchi centers again. Still loose. At the point, Igor Ulanov. Shot is blocked. Nice block there by Robbie Brown. Nasruddin moves up. Taken away from him, but not out. Now hopped over Savage, and Brown takes off after it. Frantic action in front of Tom Barrasso, and the Canadiens unable to put it away.
Yeah, it was a great line change, an alert change by Recchi that allowed Pittsburgh to back up and Montreal to get the puck in the zone, and then Paul Stewart, the referee, didn't panic and blow the whistle during that scramble. He was really alert and saw the puck was loose.
Ulanov went down, nearly lost that. Knocks it ahead, and Stevenson battling against Kasparaitis. There's Kulak crashing in there, working over Morozov. Galanov up ahead to Hrdina. He tries to spin out of the zone and does. Puck flipped down into Montreal territory by Miller. 9 minutes gone, first period. Pretty good pace, still no score. Here's Poulin, 3-on-2, and a nice poke check there by Soroik. Turning the other way, Kovalev just failed to get loose. Now Soroik up for Morozov. Now it's Lang taking off. Here's Robert Lang, and the pass for Kovalev broken up. Malakoff turns. McCleary loose on the left side, just failed to gather in the pass. Barrasso scoops it around, and it will be past Asham and out to center. Malakoff drifts the long shot in. Asham gives chase. Kept in by Malakoff. And now Bobby Dallas. Out at center. And in the Montreal zone.
Chris, similar as you see, almost an icing call, but similar yesterday to Montreal's game in Boston. They were exceptional through 2 periods and then disintegrated. Can they stay together for a 60-minute game here? They've got some awfully tough scorers to go against with Pittsburgh, but so far Montreal's game plan has been pretty good.
Fourth line for Pittsburgh's out right now. Tyler Wright, Dan Kessa, and Harry York, another former Ranger, now in the Pittsburgh lineup. Here's Kessa. Check from behind. Hoagland came back to steal the puck. Greg Rive firing it in from center ice. Ruchinski after it. Played by him and back out.
2 games in 2 nights for Pittsburgh. They may use their fourth line a little more. And remember Tyler Wright, the more he plays, the more penalties he draws by throwing his head back when he gets hit.
Here's a breakaway pass knocked down. Yager was cruising at center. Barnes couldn't feed him the puck. Wawrinka in his own zone, kept in by Rive. And now Pittsburgh will try it again. Up to Yager. Boy, a fast-paced first period. Yager over the line. 9 minutes remaining.
And you can see both teams in it. They're not going offside. They're not icing the puck. Good, clean hitting. Both teams seem to be fairly alert, as we do have an offside.
Finally a whistle with 8:56 left in a scoreless first period.
Well, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. Whoa, he knows when you're awake. Oh, he knows if you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not pout.
Buy right now and get your choice of a free Sony Sports Walkman or other great gifts.
Monday, join host Dennis Trudeau, News World's Allison Smith, and the National Susan Bonner for complete results and analysis on election night. Quebec Election 98, a News Watch special presentation, Monday at 7:30.
Hi, I'm Dave Bronstetter. Monday on Daybreak, a taste of Montreal on Election Day. The hopes, the dreams, the aspirations of Quebecers as they go to the polls. Daybreak on Election Day.
Jaromir Jagr has 4 of his 5 goals on the season on the power play. He struggled over the last week or so with a flu bug that he's had a hard time shaking, but he's saying the same unit of 5 every time his line is on the ice, and that's Weinrich and Brisebois on the blue line with Holtland's line up front. A 1-3-1 system made famous in Sweden.
He is third in NHL scoring, 1 point back of Paul Kariup and Eric Lindros. Crean usually rises to the top, doesn't it? Wawrinka spinning back. Interesting strategy by the Canadiens, too, to get his old buddy Martin Raczynski out on the ice defensively against him. Puck down the ice, a race for it. And the Canadiens get their first. Weinrich.
Stu Barnes will be the key face-off man for Pittsburgh. Last night he had 23 draws. The game before in Washington he had 33. And in that same game in Washington in a 5-4 loss, he was named the #1 star with 3 different goals. That's the backdoor play that they use on their power play. Here's another one. Right across to the top of the crease, and Barnes is there to slam home the puck. A hat trick, first star, and the only thing that went wrong is they lost the game 5-4 to a Bondra goal late.
Hard to imagine Florida let him go.
He has really been a key for Pittsburgh with the loss of Ronnie Francis.
Ulanov shot doesn't get through. There's Savage ducking away from a check. Ryan Savage stays on the puck, and now Koivu in pursuit. 2 11s after it. Loose stick.
It's Hordina's the centerman.
And Paul Stewart calling his first penalty of the game. A tripping call at the 12-minute mark of the opening period. Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Labatt Blue.
The holiday event at the Molson Center. The Super Circus, December 26th to the 28th. The Super Circus will amaze you with thrilling and incredible acts of all kinds. A great show for the whole family. December 26th to the 28th at the Molson Center. Tickets on sale at the Molson Center box office, all admission outlets, or by calling 790-1245. The Super Circus.
Elegant gift wrapping says a lot about your gift, and it also says a lot about you. Now we're going to start with the textured foil. Even if you're old thumbs, wrapping like this is easy. Now I like to pre-cut the tape so I can just place it on the gift. Are you
Pay as you go from Cantel AT&T.
Or are you more formal and reserved?
No monthly bill, no credit check, and no contract.
And here we have the final gift. Oh, of course, don't forget to remove the price tag before you start wrapping. I think this is beautifully wrapped, and I would be happy.
Sunday, 2 hours of Disney fun with Flipper. An all-new Emily of New Moon. And from Daphne du Maurier, Frenchman's Creek.
Kip Miller in the penalty box for tripping. The first power play of the game goes to the Canadiens. Koivu behind the net. Savage, a pass for Recchi, and a turnaround shot drilled wide. The point men for the Canadiens, Brisebois and Malakoff. And the puck hit with a high stick as we get updates from Toronto. Here's Dick Urban.
Well, the Ottawa Senators have one of the best records in the league when they score first. Well, they've opened up a 2-0 lead. 2 goals in 50 seconds near the halfway point of the first period in Toronto. Alexei Yashin, who is their best player and is playing like their best player these days. From behind the net, there's a screen in front of Curtis Joseph. He snaps one home. And then 50 seconds later, off a rebound from Johansson. Good news for Senators fans. Daniel Alfredson scores his first goal of the year, firing home the rebound very quickly. 2-0 Senators in Toronto.
Northeast Division battle there. And there's Kip Miller in the penalty box. 18 seconds gone in his tripping minor. And a face-off back in the Montreal zone. Kessa and Straka, the penalty killers, and Kessa wins the draw. Hatcher's shot handled by Theodore, and now the Canadiens will organize the power play. Koivu flips it in. Barrasso likes to play the puck even with that extra room behind the net.
But you know, I don't see him using the puck and moving it as much as he used to, Chris. And I think you're seeing that throughout the league. Remember the days of Barrasso and Hextall and these guys? Every time they got the puck at Van Beesbrook, they were making passes. We don't see it anymore. Barrasso doesn't handle the puck nearly as much as he used to. He's still good at it, but not as much.
Warenka can't find it. Kept in by Brisebois. 65 seconds left in the power play. High pass back to Malakoff. Here's Savage. Koivu swinging it around. Recchi on the far side. Now Koivu playing on the outside right now. Malakoff couldn't handle the pass. It comes to Savage. Ryan Savage to Malakoff. Returns the pass. Now they switch sides. Brisebois let it go wide. Tyler Wright hacking at Malakoff and swings the stick and chases him back for the Canadiens line. Wright heads off.
Trying to fall a big tree there. Yager now on the ice to help finish the penalty kill. Pittsburgh only one shorthanded goal on the season, that by Straka. Pittsburgh's ranked 23 in the penalty kill. Make that 26 in the penalty kill, but they don't take many penalties. The fewest in the league is what they've taken. Vancouver the most.
And it looks like they're going to improve their percentage because final seconds of this power play, Canadiens really didn't test Tom Barrasso, and the fans here showing their impatience. No shots. One attempt and it went wide as the Penguins penalty kill was extremely aggressive. Every Montreal player that had the puck in the Penguin zone, they were just attacked. So Barrasso never saw any shot that hit the net. And the other thing is that with this Penguin penalty kill, they do a lot of video work with Kevin Constantine. They're very well prepared for what the other team does on the special teams. In fact, this guy, he videotapes practices. Yeah, he's the new captain video. Take the title away from Roger Nielsen.
If you don't work in practice, you're dead. Now, they've been playing the 1-3-1 Montreal has against this great line with Yager on it for Montreal. Montreal playing the 1-3-1. You see the one man deep, 3 players across the blue line, then there's one way back. See the one back on the left side, and they got 3 guys across here, and then one deep. We'll see if Yager's line's going to be able to break it. They're back on the ice right now with the 1-3-1.
Kasparaitis sends it in. Now Yager's out with Lang and Kovalev. Switching things up a bit. Patrick Poulet over the line. He'll send it in deep. There's Stevenson behind the net. Kasparaitis picks him up, but Stevenson turned away and centered it. Knocked away by Barrasso. Now Yager got crossed up with Galanov. Lost it and gets it back again. Now Yager goes to work with Lang over the line. Here's Yager back in front, and Lang couldn't reach it. Turner Stevenson just ducked a check from Kasparaitis.
Well, he's mad at Paul Stewart as Stevenson's helmet was jarred right off on the top of his head. You notice Montreal changed their 2 forwards? Same 3 defensemen for Yager's line, but they changed the 2 forwards. And I think it's to rest the other 2. You can't have the same forwards all the time to play 28, 29 minutes against Yager. They'll kill you.
Here's Yager feeding it. Tyler Wright came off the bench, plays it back in for Yager. Along the end boards, he's getting roughed up there by Ulanov. They continue the battle as Wright shot it wide. Bobby Dallas chops at the puck high in the air and back down, and there's Malakoff trying to run Harry York over. So it's intensifying here as these two teams starting to take a few cheap shots at each other with the sticks and the hacks. Eric Hood dancing over the line, and it's called on the offside. Still scoreless, 4:27 to go, first period.
Introducing the all-new 1999 Windstar. All right, come on, don't be shy. With a 200 horsepower, 3.8-liter V6 engine, vroom. 2 sliding doors, quad captain chairs, air conditioning, and 7, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 passenger seating, plus tilt steering, cruise control, power door locks, mirrors, windows, for, wait for it, $339 a month. Hey, the all-new 1999 Windstar LX at $339 a month. They're going fast at your very generous Ford dealers and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
Forever.
There hasn't been anything like this before. Michael Flatley, Lord of the Dance, brings this spectacular event to network television. Feet of Flames. Friday night at 8:30 on CBC.
Turner Stevenson, career high 9 goals, only 1 this season, and is he hot? Watch Kasparaitis move in there with a high hit, almost knocked his helmet off. Stevenson was on the bench as we were at television commercial the timeout, and Stevenson was one hot guy. Be interesting to watch his next shift to see if he controls himself as Kasparaitis does his thing.
He skated by Kasparaitis later in the shift, and undaunted, Kasparaitis gave him a two-hander over the ankles again, just to make sure he got Stevenson's attention. Eric Hood now moving into the zone, but Kip Miller came back and took the puck away for Pittsburgh. Igor Ulanov at center. And now Hrdina looks across for Robbie Brown. Kind of strange to see Rob Brown on a defensive line for Pittsburgh, but he's done a good job and stayed in the good graces of Kevin Constantine with his diligence on defense. Nasreddine whipped a shot high. There's Asham on the other side. Hood trying to center it, knocked down by Kasparaitis, and Hrdina comes away with it. Kip Miller on left wing to the red line, and he'll get a change for Pittsburgh with 3:33 to go in the opening period. No score at the Molson Center. Shots 5-3 in favor of the Canadiens.
There was an example of what you're talking about, Chris, with Robbie Brown on the back check. He never used to work at the back check. He was a goal scorer. He does now.
Here's Straka trying to barge in. Yager follows. Jaromir Yager lost it. Rive there swatting at it. Yager got it back. Stu Barnes along the boards. Finds Yager. Straka in front. Now Barnes, he took a... Kim Tao. And that ends up in the Canadiens bench. 2:40 remaining. Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Labatt Blue.
The color of determination. One of the colors between the colors created by Canon. Canon Laser Color. Its only competition is reality.
Play just underway in the Montreal zone. Recchi, Koivu, and Savage. And here's Koivu through center. Looks rink wide, Malakoff, but Savage was well in ahead of the playoff side.
You know, there's been some decent action. There's been some smart defensive play, yet the shots are only 5-3 in favor of Montreal. Most of those on one scramble. And maybe the best chance was the goalpost hit by Jaromir Yager at the midpoint of the period. See the Montreal club with all those injuries. Zoltok back up, Wood back up. Nasreddine, I had a nice chat with him this morning. I said, Elaine, what kind of game do you play, or who'd you pattern it after? He says, well, you know, growing up around here, I like to watch Chris Chelios play. But my dad told me, watch Rick Green and watch Craig Ludwig, because if I make the NHL, it'll be that kind of style that I'm going to have to play, not the Chelio style. So his dad had a good point, and his son listened. Elaine, a very engaging young man.
Well, it's a chance for some of these guys to make an impression, and some of the players that have been up here and got off to bad starts to kind of redeem themselves, because the Canadiens need some people to step up.
The question is, with Montreal, who's playing well? Who is one player on their team that's playing well? Nobody, really.
It's a short list.
Yeah, the scorers aren't scoring. Defensively, they haven't been that good. Theodore, the goaltender, he's only had the one bad outing. That was a game against Boston. Other than that, he's been real good.
Boy, the Canadiens came close to a 2-on-1 there as Koivu just lost his footing. Malakoff, a blast. Barrasso made the stop, but couldn't find the rebound. Cleared by the Penguins. Out to center ice. That's the 6th shot of the period. Canadiens, the bulk of their shots on that one flurry. In close, now Quintel moves up. Darius Kasparaitis can't get it out. Koivu comes off the boards with it. Lang there for Pittsburgh defensively. Now Savage up with a loose puck, and that's blocked in front by Galanov. But a lot of guys with offensive reputations at Pittsburgh, John, and you see a different dedication to defense this year.
Well, if you don't work in practice, you don't play, and if you don't play the system, you don't play. Harry York was traded to Pittsburgh from New York. You know what he did? First thing when he got there, he sat down and watched videotape for over 3 hours to learn the system. And again, Kevin Constantine will tape his team in practice. He videotaped them in practice, and if guys are taking it easy and not working, you won't play. Here's Barrasso making the save off of Malakoff, and he wasn't sure where the rebound went, but you notice he didn't panic? He made the save and didn't start moving his legs all over the place. He didn't take a chance of knocking the puck in himself. He was very steady and very careful on the play, and then got some help from his friends.
Minute 18 to go in the opening period. Here's Soroik with a shot. That hit Morozov. He's taken down by Nasreddine. Puck centered, and it comes out to Poulin, who starts back for the Canadiens. With Turner Stevenson, who missed the pass. Now whipped it in. It was knocked down. And Morozov across ice. Lang and Kovalev into Montreal territory. Great move, Robert Lang, and he was unable to get a shot away.
He beat Ulanov, and then Ulanov put the hook into him and knocked him off balance.
In the final minute of the opening period in this battle of playoff rivals last season, Canadiens winning that first round series in 6. Here's Stevenson trying to ward off the check of Soroik. Zoltak behind the net. Stevenson a wraparound, comes out in front. Nasreddine, and that deflects off Morozov and into the seats.
27.9 seconds to go, and Stevenson, after having his head jarred by Kasparaitis, comes back with a good shift. Ulanov was beaten to the outside by Lang, and Lang, I think, is an extremely underrated hockey player. Look at that little change of gears. He went from inside to the outside, got around, and there's the hook right into the midsection. That stopped what would have been a good scoring chance by Robert Lang. Boy, Lang, Barnes, maybe 2 of the top 3 or 4 underrated players in the National Hockey League. Ulanov recovered in the nick of time. Now here with 27.9 to go, the Penguins put their big line on the ice. They've always got Warenka and Hatcher. It's a unit of 5 with the Stu Barnes line with Yager on it. And it's the same unit of 5 out there for Montreal with Brisebois and Weinrich on the point, because they have the most mobility, the better speed of all the skating defensemen for Montreal to try and shut this line down.
Here's Straka dropping it for Hatcher.
Of course, you get the feeling it's like a chess game, even though it's a good action chess game, but with the coaches, they're really working on matchups. Kasparaitis all the time against Koivu. These 5 against 5 all the time.
Kind of feels like a playoff game again. And for the Canadiens, it's a critical game and a pretty good first period.
Montreal's in the middle of a 6-game and 9-night streak. Theodore came up huge on Morozov with that catching glove save, the first save he had to make. He only had 3 of them come his way. Montreal was really good against the big players for Pittsburgh in the first period.
6-3, the shots on goal favor Montreal. The one and only coming up in our first intermission. Don Cherry, scoreless in Montreal.
Remember just how good homemade soup can taste? Well, it'll all come back to you at Tim Hortons when you try our delicious new Tim's Own Chip Noodle. It's got bow tie pasta noodles, sliced carrots, red peppers, and chunks of seasoned chicken, all in a hearty chicken broth. New Tim's own chicken noodle. You'll love every drop, no matter how you get it. Come home for lunch at Tim Hortons.
Good morning. It's 6:28 in our...
Well, it's rain, rain, and more.
I can't believe you're leaving me.
There's a left jab.
The most sports. The most hockey. They call him Foucault. Endless movies. Over 100 channels of as much TV as you can handle. Bell Express View. Hardware available for as little as $12.49 a month. Weight loss not included.
Some people find this refreshing. Good for them. Blue Light, your kind of chill.
You go from Cantel AT&T. With no monthly bill, credit check, or contract. Now anyone can get a cell phone for Christmas.
Wildcat. A taste of the wild.
Coach's Corner with Don Cherry. Brought to you by Canadian Airlines, the airline that scores points for service. Coming in December on CBC.
You should be kissed and off.
Gone with the Wind.
And by someone who knows how.
Shania Live. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The Rankin Family Christmas Cabaret. Happy Christmas, Miss King.
Oh, so good to see you.
Feet of Flames. December on CBC.
I'm just tempting you.
You can say all you want, but I know the softer you are, it had to hurt to fire Peter Sturgeon and Adam Bennett this week, or did it?
Well, I've known the kid since he was a rookie at Boston. I hired him, handpicked him. Of course, it was a nice experience, but I've been fired many times, and something has to be done. If you're in this racket, you have to be tough, and you have to take it, and you have to give it up, and you have to do what you have to do. I'll tell you what's really tough. I remember a guy named Joe Zanussi. You remember Joe? He came to Boston on that New York trade, and he came along with Rattel and Park. And I had to tell him after 2 weeks he was going down, and he knew he'd never come back, and he'd worked all his life. He had his family and everything there. To tell a guy like that, and you see a guy, grown man, crying. Now that's tough.
This is an expansion team. How'd you do it? I read in the paper you walked into the room while a reporter was talking to him, and what? And then just said...
I just said, I've seen enough. That's it. And he said, you can't do it. I says, it's done. And that's it. You take it, you slice it fast. You don't stand and you don't argue. If you stand there and argue, you make a case, you say, that's it. He's a good guy.
Did you go talk to the kids then, or did you go wait till the next day?
Walked out the next day, came to practice. I took over practice, had the best 3 practices they've ever had in their life. And we got a tie last night, had 45 shots. We never had 45 shots in 4 games, and we're going to be coming. You
hired a kid from Kingston.
Kingston, Jim Holden, from Wolf Island, actually. His uncle built my cabbage.
Marysville?
No, yeah, right outside of Marysville and Wolf Island, and he's a good guy, and he had the Kingston Voyagers in first spot.
Well, it's interesting stuff. I won't belabor it, but people who are in hockey want to know how
I didn't know you were going to ask me that.
No, you really, I saw you on the page of all the papers, and you look like you were happy coaching. How come you're not coaching? Why didn't you?
I would love to coach. I'm Brian Kilray. I said this before in the paper. I see him get on the bus. He's got Anne Murray records, 6 packs of peanuts, cigar, and he's laughing all the way to Ottawa. Me, I'm dying 1,000 deaths. Got to hustle to make a buck here. You know why? 'Cause I'm greedy.
Am I glad you mentioned for Nick Boynton, who is captain of Brian's team. His uncle was in a bad car accident last week and is doing okay, but since we brought up Brian Kilrea,
what a hockey player he is.
Yes, he is. So there you go for his uncle. We're all thinking, I know we went to Sunnybrook. Okay, let's get to it. The Ottawa Senators are in town. No team's been shelled more with eye injuries than them. But it's all around. It's an epidemic. What about Visors?
I was in the hockey news. I got ripped twice. I just got the hockey news twice about the Visors. Let's get it straight. Now listen. Listen to what I'm saying. If I'm playing old-timers, right? If I'm playing industrial hockey, I wear a visor. And if you're Solani, Correa, Albertson out here, guys like that, LaFontaine, guys that don't, go out and look for trouble, no problem. I get no problem with Correa wearing a visor at Solani. That's their choice. They don't go looking for trouble. But then you have guys like, say, Pilon. He's going out looking for a fight all the time, and he's got a mask down to here. It's unfair. You mind your own business. You play the game of hockey. Fine, wear a visor. No problem. But when you go looking for trouble, like Alfie Samuelson that light, by the way, 3 guys got real severe concussions, really bad. Patty LaFontaine had to retire. Brent Lindruss here before had to retire. Solani got a concussion, was out. And Correa had a concussion, was out. They all wore visors. Just thought I'd mention that.
Well, what do you do? And the other funny part of that, like Yager wears one, and Forsberg wears one, Claude Lemieux wears one. I know you gave it to Trent McCleary. Ken Baumgartner went after him in the game yesterday.
Well, yeah, but
they have to play tough. Pilon has to play tough.
Well, then, if you have to play tough, you don't have a mask on.
But he has an eye problem.
That's his problem. You don't play tough, and that's the way you don't hide behind it. By the way, concussions. I like to talk about concussions. Big headline in the paper, headhunters there too. I remember a guy back in 1979 had a little white dog, said, this is what he said. He said, you put helmets on, you're going in 10 to 20 years, you're going to have, we call them KOs. We didn't call them concussed back then. You won't believe how you get it. And I had doctors in the pit. My, what a ridiculous statement. You protect your body and you protect your elbows. Your most vulnerable spot is your head. Why not protect that? Now, Glenn Sather, Coach of the Year, Executive of the Year, Team Canada winner, guy making deals now, knows all about hockey. You know, he came out last week and said, all the problems started with the helmets. And why? Because they have no respect for the head. Now, that's from Glenn Sather. Argue with that guy. He's the expert of all time.
No, I wouldn't argue with you or him on that, but what do you do now?
You don't do anything. There's nothing. The tree huggers wouldn't let them take it off.
It's not tree huggers, it's insurance, I think.
Insurance? Absolutely the insurance, but we never had it before. I'm not saying insurance. All I'm saying is the guys have no respect for the head whatsoever. And that's why we're getting it. Glenn Sather, who knows what's going on, like me, agrees.
Well, we only have a minute here, but do you want to broach the subject of kids hitting?
No, next week I'm going to talk about you moms. You stay tuned next week. I know you never miss it. I'm going to talk about hitting up till 12 years old or not hitting up till 12 years old, and I'm going to give you the straight goods on it. So tune in next week. And I remember what I said about visors. I don't want to hear my name mentioned with visors anymore. And the concussions, Glenn Sather and I said, the tree hugger said, have a helmet, and now we got KOs, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I agree. Would you make them mandatory if everybody wore a visor? You think that would eliminate the problem?
Sure, then everybody would have a concussion.
So you don't agree with that?
No.
You don't agree with visor? What about, do you think if Coley Campbell suspends every guy who swings at the head?
It's really working, isn't it?
Well, it's early, though.
Hey,
it is early.
There's more concussions, there's more injuries than not, and we've had more suspensions. I'm going to elbow. Oh, I better not. Coley's going to suspend me. What are you kidding? Get real.
Big checks at the bank are like big checks in hockey. You can't afford to have them if you use plastic, according to Don Cherry on the Coach's Corner on Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Coach's Corner on CBC. Brought to you by Canadian Airlines, the airline that scores points for service.
A Christmas fantasy even I could love with a little help from Canadian Tire.
If I were in charge of Christmas, my life would be like a TV special. Christmas trees would grow, already decorated. And the guy who invented when one light goes out, they all go out, he'd get his. Then we'd snap up every light and decoration from Canadian Tire so that inside and out, our house would be the brightest on the block. Make that the country.
For the best holiday decorations, come to the right place. Canadian Tire, where you can give like Santa and save like Scrooge.
For Christmas, I'd like to give my sister skiing lessons. Golf clubs for my mom. And for Dad. And for me.
Check out specially marked Coca-Cola packages. You could instantly win the $50,000 grand prize for your Christmas shopping list.
Got it.
Is $50,000 for Christmas okay enough for you?
Well, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. Whoa, he knows when you're awake. Oh, he knows if you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not pout.
Buy right now and get your choice of a free Sony Sports Walkman or other great gifts.
This winter, a new standard in ice tire technology is born. Michelin Arctic Alpine. Its unique zigzag sight design gives you greater contact with the road, which means greater traction on ice. And if it's good on ice, it'll get you anywhere in winter. Michelin, celebrating 100 years of innovation.
To exhume the body. So we just dig them up. We'll dig everybody up.
Ethics get in the way of a murder investigation.
We have information that she may have been suffocated.
That's not necessarily going to show up at autopsy. You know what you're doing?
Damage control.
Da Vinci's Inquest, Wednesday.
Nothing. Hockey game after one. Turner Stevenson. What's your role? You want to get some goals, and you got to play defense.
Yeah, we're having a tough time with the amount of injuries we've had. A lot of our key guys off our top two lines, and the guys who are scoring. So we get guys back, and more guys get injured. So we have to play tight D against this team, and hopefully we can get one and protect the lead from there.
What's the game plan against Yager? Anything special?
Well, we're trying to play things last year in the playoffs. Put in their D-man back there and lock the far side, and it seems to work pretty well. And if we can limit that line's chances, we got a good chance to win.
Thanks, Turner. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Woo. Nice job.
Up to the minutes. Brought to you by Ford. For now, forever.
Introducing the 1999 Ford Windstar. The only minivan to earn a 5-star safety rating 5 years in a row.
This afternoon, one game in the National Hockey League on Long Island. Carolina beating the Islanders 3-1. Deneen Kapanen and Keith Primo doing the scoring for the winners. Nemchina for New York. We have shown you the highlights of the game in Toronto, and the two big guns of the Ottawa Senators have fired Yashin and Alfredson for the injury-plagued Alfredson, his first of the year. 2-0 Ottawa at the end of one at Maple Leaf Gardens. Buffalo at Florida, no score in the first period. The Dominator in the nets for the Sabres again in that one. Washington at St. Louis, a later start. The Blues had a long home ice unbeaten string snapped in their last outing. New Jersey at Colorado. A couple of former Stanley Cup winning teams from the 1990s, the late game in the United States, Phoenix at Los Angeles, as Larry Robinson's injury-plagued team plays their last game at home before playing here in Montreal on Monday. And our game, number 2 on our doubleheader, will be Chicago at Calgary. No score here, end of one in Montreal.
Up to the minutes. Brought to you by Ford. For now, forever.
Kind of reminds you of the last time you tried to use the internet, huh? You've got to get fast internet technology from Nortel Networks. It's more than 30 times faster than 28 modems. Visit our website and be faster to the net with the NHL and Nortel Networks. How the world shares ideas.
Have you ever noticed how special life can get when it's focused on you?
That's why we've created M-Banks, a bank built around you. It's about you getting the help you need whenever you need it, from a real live person, not a recorded voice, 24 hours a day. M-Banks. It's about time banking was about you.
Hey, I found some pretty cool things for your cars. Snow brushes! This is the Star, the famous Oscar fold-up snow brush with detachable scraper. But have you seen Oscar's new swiveling snow brush? Oh, baby, it's light, practical, and easy to handle. And finally, the big guns. Oscar's extendable snow brush for those hard-to-reach areas like the top of your minivan. With a swiveling head to boot. Oscar, ideas in motion. Oh, and your shovel, don't plow ahead without it.
I'm going to vote on November 30th, and it's important that I do it properly by marking the circle of my choice. On November 30th, this space is mine, and I'm going to use it.
For more information, call 1-888-ELECTION.
Live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Ford. For now, forever. And by people at M-Banks, who believe that it's about time banking was about you.
Back in Montreal, getting set for the second period between the Canadiens and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Scoreless through 20 minutes. Montreal with an edge in shots on goal 6-3, but John, Pittsburgh had as many, if not more, scoring chances.
Yeah, the quality chances for sure, Chris. Early in the period, Lang moved in on Jose Theodore. A great wrist shot here, and Theodore hadn't seen a shot all game long. Used the catching glove to make the big save with Kovalov looking for the rebound, and then Jágr moved down. The only scoring chance their line really had that was significant, and that shot went off the goalpost and wide. Terrific rising wrist shot from Jaromir Jágr. Now 9 games without a goal plus a period, but lots of assists, and he's making his teammates a whole lot better. You see the scoring of Straka and Barnes. A lot of it has to do with this guy right here. Now talking to Steve Lattin about his sticks. Lattin, he's got 3 sticks over there as Jágr tries to change things up.
Well, Alain Vigneault trying to weather the storm injury-wise. There was another one of the recent injuries. Brett Clark hit by Cale Hulse, and a KO there. And Clark out with a concussion.
Looks like Bambi on ice trying to get to the boards, to the bench. Man, this Montreal team, though, played a very disciplined first period. Only a couple of scoring chances against, and that's how they have to survive in a game like this with Pittsburgh.
Jonas Hoagland firing it in. This is the defensive set for the Canadiens as Jágr's on the ice. You know, it is amazing, Jágr with 28 points and all the great stars in the game that get so much defensive attention night after night, and yet somehow persevere and come up with a big play. Jágr's got it now. Swings it in wide of the net. Wawrinka steps up. Hoagland there for the Canadiens. Now Weinrich plays it ahead. They chop at it. And finally the Canadiens, well, they don't get control. Now Rive just flips it out.
And the other thing, Chris, when you play against this Pittsburgh Hockey Club with a number 3 ranked power play, what makes sense? Stay out of the penalty box. Right. And that's what Montreal did in the first period. Not one power play for the Pittsburgh club in this game so far. So it's been an excellent game of discipline with this club. Rive, along with 2 other defensemen, Weinrich and Brisebois, playing as much as they can against the Jágr unit of 5. And now again, and I don't mean to talk too much about matchups, but again, Saku Koivu's lines on the ice, and it's Kasparaitis and Galanov as the defense pairing against them.
Here's Herdina to Rob Brown, whipped the shot off the glove of Theodore. Now Rob Brown waits for it behind the net. Koivu there defensively now, and he knocks it off Brown's stick. Saku Koivu sidestepped to hit, but lost it, and here's a chance in front. It comes back to the point. Kasparaitis unable to control it. Here come the Canadiens. 3 of them, 3 on 2. Recchi follows, and the shot knocked down, and Galanov played that beautifully.
Yeah, 3-on-2 developed into a 3-on-4 with a hard back check of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Galanov with that great skating stride to his right as he backs up. It's remarkable how he can move quickly. Koivu has all the speed, yet his speed didn't win.
Now Ulanov bouncing it in. Bobby Dolis. Sorokin plays it up to Kovalev. Ulanov has stepped up, and it's kept in. Zoltak in front. Stevenson rebound. Barrasso down, and he got enough of that to keep it out. Turner Stevenson with the best chance for the Canadiens.
Nice pinch by Ulanov, and the reason he could is because Zoltak covered in behind him, and that kept the play alive.
Now Zoltak battling for it in front of the penalty box. Lang kicked it ahead and gave it to Poulin, who whips the shot wide of the net. Quintel moves up. There's Stevenson along the boards, and Lang for Pittsburgh gets it out to center. So the best chance for the Canadiens, Turner Stevenson with a couple of shots on Tom Barrasso early in this second period. Still scoreless. Rive off the boards. Hoagland had his stick lifted by Jágr. Dallas now up ahead for Barnes with Jágr and Straka. Rive picked off the pass. Hoagland on the counter fires it in, and a pad save by Barrasso. Rive kept it in at the line. Here's Brisebois now with the shot knocked down by Straka. Dallas flips it ahead. There's Stu Barnes over 2 lines offside.
You'll see the Jágr line starts to get a little more ice time as the game moves along. Only 7.5 minutes each in the first. Turner Stevenson's upset. He knows he had a great scoring chance. The Jágr line will play somewhere in the neighborhood of 26, 28, maybe almost 30 minutes, but only 7.5 in the first. So I think as this game moves along and he looks healthy, he may get even more. Here you can see Montreal able to keep the puck in. Ulanov had pinched, and Zoltak kept the puck in. Stevenson with the scoring chance, and the puck went off Barrasso and wide. Defensemen can pinch if you're backed up. Zoltak did a nice job. And there's Stevenson with the rebound shot. You know, Tommy Barrasso may have knocked that out of the air with his catching glove. Nice save.
Barrasso missed a lot of action early with the groin injury, then the back seized up. At least he had a twinge last week. Last Saturday night came out of a game. Now Martin Straka dashing in. Great move, Straka, and Taylor makes the stop.
Boy, no penalty there. Straka was pulled down from behind. Big save. Malakoff, woo, was he deep wide?
All week, your men gave you 100%. Make that 110. So tonight, you're taking them for a well-deserved night out. There's only one problem. You don't have the Dodge Ram Quad Cab. It's got 4 doors, a choice of 4 powerful engines, and plenty of room for up to 6 people.
I feel really close to you guys.
The man with the most goals is Stu Barnes with 12. Straka was looking for number 11, and look at this, coast to coast. Good speed through the neutral zone, and then he goes around Brisebois. I had said earlier Malakoff, my apologies, and look at the shot right into the chest of Theodore, who played it perfectly. Theodore learned a lot as a kid from Tretiak, the famous Russian goaltender. And Theodore loves to take the shots right into the chest like he did on that play with Straka moving in.
Asham McCleary on the ice for Montreal, along with Oud and Nasreddin. Those 4 names you don't usually hear in the Canadiens lineup. It's the 4th line of Pittsburgh, York, Wright, and Kessa.
I don't think they'll see a shift against the 3rd or 2nd or 1st line, but it's a smart matchup when you play these guys against the other team's 4th line.
And Kessa, 40-goal man last year in the International Hockey League. And Ulanov back in his own zone. You're talking about last chance guys, and Pittsburgh pretty good at finding them. Craig Patrick.
Very seldom do you see Craig Patrick make a bad trade. And when they find players that are scattered throughout all the different pro leagues, the IHL, the AHL, wherever, they seem to fit. And then when they become a Penguin, they better play the system and play it smart. See a different system there? That's a trap that they're using against this line. Other than that, Montreal uses that 1-3-1. So it's a specific system built for that Yager line.
Here's Koivu sending it across. Savage on the far side. Now Quintal. Sidestep to check from Rob Brown. And Quintal will get it in deep. Approaching the 5-minute mark of the second period. Still no score here in Montreal. Savage sent it across. Kasparaitis was there. Now Quintal will move up. Stefan Quintal, Recchi. That hit Miller, following up Malakoff, and his pass deflects over the glass and out of play.
Kinda reminds you of the last time you tried to use the internet, huh? You've got to get fast internet technology from Nortel Networks. It's more than 30 times faster than 28 modems. Visit our website and be faster to the net with the NHL and Nortel Networks. How the world shares ideas.
Face off inside the Pittsburgh line. 5:02 gone in the second period. Joltok, Stevenson, and Poulin. Joltok in forechecking. Stevenson in front. They score! Patrick Poulin on a picture-perfect pass from Turner Stevenson.
Chris, this started with a big hit on the far side of the ice by Poulin. He moved in deep against the Lang line, and he threw a body check that helped force the Penguins into a quicker play than what they wanted to do. And then Poulin went to the net and got the puck. See him move across there. He forced that play that was too quick behind the net. And then there you see the cross-ice pass. Poulin went to the net, was not picked up at all. And all of a sudden it's in the net. Sorowick was the defenseman that I think was supposed to stay with Poulin, who went to the net without the puck. A quick redirection. And what a big goal for Montreal to get the 1-0 lead. Will it force Pittsburgh to open it up a little bit? Good play by Poulin with the body check and then accepting the pass.
So Patrick Poulin's second of the season gives the Canadiens a 1-0 lead at the 5:12 mark. Turner Stevenson gets the lone assist. Remember that shift in the first period, Kasparaitis and Stevenson. And Turner Stevenson's been a force ever since. There he is, intercepting a pass in the Pittsburgh zone again. Joltok rolling one in on Barrasso. So the Canadiens get the lead. Pittsburgh's been unbeaten this year when they score first. Here's Raczynski dancing in. Martin Raczynski and Sorowick. Up ends Raczynski, and he'll be headed off. So a goal for the Canadiens, and now a power play opportunity to follow. Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Labatt Blue.
This is the climate. MotoMaster works here. If the weather around here had its way, some days you'd never even get started. That's why MotoMaster offers a line of climate-proven batteries, including our top-of-the-line Eliminator. With 1,000 cold cranking amps, Eliminator will start your car even in the most severe conditions. And it's backed by an 84-month comprehensive warranty. This is the brand. This is the climate. MotoMaster works here.
Jeff Sorowick goes for holding Raczynski with all kinds of speed. Now, you may have seen a tackle like this in the football game today. Canadian College Championship. Well, they didn't use a stick. It was through the legs, and Raczynski does a nice job drawing that. Dave King used to coach a little football, he was telling us today.
He might be the only one in Montreal happy about that Saskatchewan win today. Tell you what, Concordia certainly put up a great scrap.
What was Dave King saying? He used to coach some of the players for Saskatchewan.
Their fathers.
Their fathers.
Not that we want to age
No,
Dave
we
King,
don't do that, do we?
but he did, so we'll pass it on. Here's Malikov over the line, and that pass just off the skate of Recchi. Koivu keeps it alive for the Canadiens. Ulrika watching him. Now Hatcher hacking away at Recchi. Koivu at the line to Malikov. 3 shots for Malikov in the first period. Savage getting worked over by Warenka. Puck comes loose for Straka, and Hatcher gets it out. You mentioned that this team, the Penguins, had trouble killing penalties. Only Chicago with a lower penalty killing average so far this season. And that puck off the glass over Recchi and out.
What we're seeing with the Penguins, and this is their second penalty kill, is really aggressive in their own zone. Once Montreal, see, they don't challenge you deep. They'll challenge in the neutral zone, and they'll challenge you once you get deep. And so far, Montreal has not been able to set up a set play or anything.
Kasparaitis just played it out. Now Weinrich is on a point with Quintal. Penguins had their best year ever penalty killing last season, so it's a little surprising to see them struggling, but as you mentioned, they just haven't done much of the penalty killing this year.
And the one thing, remember that Tommy Barrasso has had injuries. When he's in the lineup, they're a better penalty killing team.
Here's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Tyler right to Morozov. In right on. And Theodore stood his ground.
Theodore had his arms out, he had his legs open, and did he make a save? And Tyler Wright did a nice job on the far side to stay on side. Montreal 0 for 5 yesterday on the power play in Boston and gave up a shorthanded goal. Morozov, watch the hole. See the hole through the legs? See the hole on the short side? Then everything's closed. Boom! Look at that. The pads are closed, the arms are to the body, and like Tretiak, he wants to take the shots right off the chest. He was saying that Tretiak was doing things in the 70s that goalies do today. That's how far he was ahead of his time. And Montreal's getting some fine goaltending. Only 5 saves, but good ones.
Not an easy game for him, only facing the 5 shots.
But you see Hackett, who was told he'd be number 1. He's the backup after he had the tough third period in Boston yesterday. You know, I remember the days when Montreal was winning Stanley Cups here with Kenny Dryden in goal. Montreal would average about 18, 19 shots against, but for 6 or 7 of those would be classic shots, 2-on-1s, power play shots. And he was mentally tough enough to hang in there and make the saves. And that's what they like about Theodore. He's learning to not give up big rebounds, and he hasn't given rebounds up here in this game, but he's mentally tough. He's a competitor, and he's showing it here.
Dave King got a read on that this morning. Felt like Theodore might come up with a big one tonight. So far, so good.
Was he saying he had the twinkle in the eye? He wanted to play and come up with a big one?
Well, he watched the other guy get 3 in a row, and now he's got his opportunity to reassert himself in the Canadiens net. Canadiens and Penguins now back at even strength. Here's a chance for Yager, whips it high. And a penalty now upcoming against Montreal. Yager with the extra man out there now. As Barrasso's gone to the bench and Stevenson picked off the pass, and we get the penalty call against the Canadiens. Back with a Pittsburgh power play after this.
The Chrysler Intrepid has something for everyone. A 200 horsepower aluminum engine, air, and a 4-speaker stereo for the unmarried. 4-speed automatic transmission plus power locks and windows for the married. And low payments for the really married. The Intrepid, only at your local Chrysler retailer.
To produce the ultimate hockey player, you need the right combination of power, speed, agility, and CCM. Because at CCM, we've spent the last 100 years perfecting every component down to the finest detail, with only one goal in mind. CCM, the hockey company.
You're watching Hockey Night in Canada, the one and only.
Nasruddin in the penalty box, and the Pittsburgh Penguins go to the power play. They're 3rd in the league.
On the right side, back in the corner, you're going to see right there Nasruddin continue to work over his man. That was Jan Radina, so he sits for 2.
Pittsburgh with plenty of firepower, third with the man advantage this year, but #1 on the road. 15 of their 22 power play goals have been scored away from the Igloo.
They get set up. Yager loves to take the puck down low with Robbie Brown and then passes the puck right across the top of the crease for a slam dunk goal by Stu Barnes. It's a set play. They've used it for a couple of years.
Rachinski and Rive were the first penalty killers. They head off now. And Poulin is out there. And Ulanov as well. Here's a pass in front and another big stop. Theodore robbing Stu Barnes.
How did Barnes get his stick on the puck? He was just absolutely velcroed by Ulanov. Yet Barnes got the puck, and what a save.
Now it's shot to an open wing. On it is Quintel. He'll blast it right back in with a minute gone in the Pittsburgh power play. The one good chance, and the only thing Pittsburgh's directed at Theodore tonight has been good chances, but he's come up big in each of his 6 stops.
Almost the midpoint of the game, 5 seconds away from it, and so far Yager has been smothered, even when he tries to carry the puck in the power play.
Now Brown. Yager's in the slot. It comes back to the point. Galanov right on. And Jose Theodore's having a solid night.
And is he solid by just not allowing rebounds? Everything that he has stopped, the puck has stayed with him. It's like a big old basket. He's just sucking it right into him. No rebounds at all. Yager tried to carry the puck through the neutral zone, and Ulanov moved across and just stayed with him. Yager, when he scores, and when he does it, the team is at 500. However, remember the assists that he has. 23 of them on the season, 10 of those 23 on the power play. He's the only player now that stays on the ice for the forwards to continue with the power play. The other two have changed. Boy, Theodore does a great job here. Brown moves the puck in front, and there's Barnes redirecting the puck, and everything is, the pucks aren't going through Theodore, not through his legs, not by his body. He stopped everything.
25 seconds left in the power play. Yager in low. Kovalev driving at the side of the net.
And he paid.
Yes,
he now puts the helmet back where it belongs, not on the side of his head, on top. Malakoff gave him a shot from behind. Kovalev looks like he got clipped near the eye, a little trouble seeing. 1994, Kovalev had a great playoff as the Rangers won their first Stanley Cup in 54 years. He had 21 points in 23 playoff games. And he learned a lot about life in the bigs, competing in playoffs from both Mike Keenan and Mark Messier. And what a key he was. Sorry, bud. He didn't do it on a consistent basis, so the Rangers had to make a deal.
What's your read on him? Do you think he's going to be the player that the New York Rangers thought they had when they drafted him?
Well, he's got world-class skill level. Yager said at the time of the trade that Kovalev is in the top 5 in the NHL regarding the skill levels offensively. With less pressure on him, knowing Yager's on the team and a good solid system, he may just do well. I think the trade's going to help both teams. The Rangers needed speed. They got it with Nedved. They needed a face-off guy. They got it with Nedved. And if Nedved can come back at the NHL level and score, much like Montreal's hoping Koivu can, then I think it'll be a real good trade for both hockey clubs. What do you think of Montreal and what you've seen so far with Koivu and Recchi? Recchi's -8 pounds. He's got the trouble with the pneumonia. Stamina, he said, is a problem. And for Koivu, 2 games in 2 days after missing 12 games,
they always
5
say
weeks.
That second game's tougher, too. You can go on adrenaline, and maybe he still is, Saku Koivu, but clearly, I mean, even the guys the Canadiens have in the lineup aren't at 100%.
Koivu was 6-3 on faceoffs in the first period. And maybe the break was yesterday's game was an afternoon game, not a night game, so a little added rest for him.
Puck rolling in on Theodore, who smothers it with 9:07 to play in the second period. And, you know, we talked with the Canadiens people before the game, and this is another critical part of the game. They've got the lead, but if Pittsburgh was to score, how will the Canadiens react to that? It's how they have reacted to adversity in recent weeks that's been a problem.
Well, they've reacted, but it's been on the negative side. Once they get down a goal, and maybe even 2, I mean, it's just like a complete fold job, and that's what they've been critiqued for here in Montreal by the media and the fans.
There's a shot by Hatcher off target. Kip Miller taken to the boards by Ulanov. Now Ulanov will play it around the boards to the far side and hopped over Hatcher's stick, and Koivu's on it. Saku Koivu streaking down the wing. Here's the shot right on. And Barrasso made the stop. Hatcher headmans the puck to Kip Miller.
A great read by Barrasso, knowing the shot would be high. Kasparaitis went down. If the puck was going to beat him, it had to come up high, and Barrasso just waited for it.
Recchi and Koivu back in. Mark Recchi taken out. Savage will continue. Hatcher and Morozov got a piece of him. Now it's pushed ahead. And Tyler Wright up to Harry York. He'll send it in deep and go after it. Knocked off his stick by Malakoff. And Recchi turns. You know, Mark was saying he probably only has about 20 seconds, 25 seconds in a shift. And now he heads to the bench after a shift that was probably twice that long.
Because of his stamina. He's got to manage that. He's got to be smart, knowing that if he stays out real long on a shift, it may affect his next shift and maybe even the one after that, and not being able to recover and be strong for it.
Asham back on the ice for the Canadiens with Oud and McCleary, and that's Oud racing in after it. Eric Oud behind the net, and Asham comes up with it. He spins it back for Oud along the boards. Now it's cycled to McCleary. McCleary plays it in deep. That's Asham, the youngster, playing his first NHL game. To Oud. Not a bad shift by him.
Yeah, they've cycled both corners and done a nice job of it.
Finally picked up by Dallas, flipping it past Asham and out to center ice. 7:20 to go. Second period, Montreal with the lead. The goal by Patrick Poulin is second of the year from Turner Stevenson. Now Barnes back out with Yager and Straka.
Yager, no room to skate with the puck. He got the puck there, and as he turned around, Malakoff was right in his face.
There's a big hit by Rive. Staying on the puck with Straka, however.
Montreal now has made the change. The same a unit of 5 to go against this Barnes, Straka, Yager line.
And it's now 9.5 games for Yager without a goal. And icing the call against Pittsburgh. 6:39 to go, second period. Hockey Night in Canada brought to you by Labatt Blue.
Have you ever noticed how special life can get when it's focused on you? That's why we've created M-Banks, a bank built around you. It's about you getting a loan or mortgage and the other things you get from an ordinary bank from the comfort of your home or office. M-Banks. It's about time banking was about you.
Yes, this is Northwood School calling. We need you for a class today.
You never know when the call will come. One school one day, 25 new faces the next. That's the beauty of being a substitute teacher. I like the variety, and I enjoy the challenge, and I love the kids.
Okay, everyone, who's ready for a pop quiz on fractions?
It's a good thing the feeling is mutual.
Chevrolet Cavalier spark plugs are platinum tipped for sure starts whenever the call comes.
Kevin Constantine's crew got in a little later than expected last night.
They played at home in the 2-2 overtime tie with the Rangers and then were to charter up to Montreal. They got on the aircraft and they found that there was some type of a leak, maybe an oil leak, around one of the engines. So they thought they better get it fixed before they got into the air. And they never arrived here in Montreal until after 3 o'clock in the morning. One of the players was saying when they landed, there was some sparks coming out of one of the engines.
Sounded like a bit of an adventure that you wouldn't want to be a part of.
No, I'd close the window. You don't want to look out and see that stuff.
Well, we've seen some flashes of brilliance from Martin Straka so far tonight.
Yeah, this could be interesting here. They've got Kovalov taking the defensive zone draw. And he doesn't do that a lot. He's pretty good on it. Never took any at all in the first period going up against Hoagland. That's also very interesting. This is that unit of 5 that goes against the Yager line.
Well, they've got Straka with Kovalev and Yager.
So they forced Pittsburgh here to change line combinations.
Here's Rutschinski with a shot block, rebound, and Barrasso gloves that and holds on.
This is what Dave King was telling us yesterday in Boston. Through 2 periods, the Montreal club got the Boston team to break up the Allison line. So they had things going their way through 2 periods, and then of course everything disintegrated in the 3rd period. Now let's watch this and see if Pittsburgh, Yager's out there, Kovalov's out there, taking the draw with Straka. So Barnes is not on the line.
Barnes dropped off for the time being. One of the guys that really did a solid job for the Canadiens yesterday in the first 40 minutes in that checking role was Benoit Brunet, who's not available tonight. Brunet playing a little bit of defensive center and wing, and a breakaway pass for Straka just cut off, and here's Hoagland with a chance, and a knuckler went wide of the net.
Yeah, Hoagland likes to shoot. Every time he gets the puck, he loves to shoot. He tried to shoot twice off the face-off against Kovalov.
Now Jágr has some room, trying to barge in, and it got cut off. Kovalev follows up, he's upended, and the Canadiens are up with it.
Oh, it was that close. Ribe came across with a hip check on Jágr and just grazed him. Oh, was that close to cutting his legs out.
Hatcher and Zoltak along the boards. Puck free for the Canadiens. Poulin to Stevenson, who knocked it into the far corner. Morozov pushes it ahead. There's Straka with that speed, bursting in. Martin Straka shot, and that hit the outside of the goal post. Boy, Straka's got a burst. Here's a chance in front. They score! Martin Straka appeared at the side of the net, and this game is tied.
He got a nice break, did Straka. However, he was in position, which was smart, but I think the puck caromed off of Quintel, a defenseman, right to Straka. He took the puck off his skate blade up to his stick blade, make sure he was out of the crease, and that was it. This is a great move, cutting into the middle and going back against the grain with the shot. That just missed. Now Straka sees the entire Montreal team go to this side. They had 4 of them over there. There's Quintel, the puck off his skate. Straka was in. I mean, he was by himself. He could have sat there in a lazy chair and had a coffee. Nobody around him. Out of sight, out of mind. He just waited, took the puck nicely off his skate blade, and Theodore had no chance as the game is now tied up at 1. Now here's one of these situations. Pittsburgh comes back and ties it. 5-0 to go in the second period. How will Montreal react?
Martin Straka with his 11th of the year. And here's Kip Miller whipping a shot just wide. You know, last year, 40% of the goals for Pittsburgh were scored by Barnes, Francis, and Jágr. Ron Francis leaves. Here's Morozov with a puck. Kip Miller moving in. Here's Miller putting it to Hatcher, and a big stop there by Theodore. Another chance, and it's knocked off the stick of Miller out to center ice. So far this year, the big line for Pittsburgh, John, has 46% of the goals. 28 out of 60 with that goal.
Well, Jágr may not be scoring, but he gets his line mates to score, doesn't he?
And we're tied here in Montreal.
If you're single, the Chrysler Intrepid is a sleek and sexy car. If, on the other hand, you're married, it's a practical family car. Either way, it'll go 160,000 kilometers before its first tune-up. Which, if you're single, means it'll still be around when you finally meet someone special and suddenly need a practical family car. Or, if you're married, it'll still be around when your midlife crisis hits and you suddenly need a sleek and sexy car.
Sunday, 2 hours of Disney fun with Flipper, an all-new Emily of New Moon, and from Daphne du Maurier, Frenchman's Creek.
Brian Sutter can relate to what the Canadiens have been going through. His team in a similar skid as they get set to entertain the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. Game 2 of our Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader from the Saddle Dome in Calgary.
Chicago does have Chris Chelios back in their lineup. They're hoping will help them. Pittsburgh Penguins have changed up 3 of their forward lines. Kovalov's been moved up to center ice to play on the big line. Barnes has moved to the 3rd line.
And here's Koivu on the ice with Ruchinski. It's Ruchinski behind the net. The backhand, Barrasso down, lost his stick. Jágr starts back. Barrasso hurt his hand on that?
Yes, he did. The puck hit the inside of his blocking glove, and he hurt his hand.
Here's Hoagland back. He'll test Barrasso, who covers up and gets a whistle.
Tonight on the Satellite Hot Stove, Red Fisher of the Montreal Gazette says the Canadiens' backbone is comprised of mush. More on that, plus the ongoing saga of Pavel Bure and the Vancouver Canucks after 2.
Well, we'll test the backbone today, John Davidson, and Brian Burke's in the building.
Yes, he has 2 games in a row now that he's watched Montreal play. Tommy Barrasso made a sprawling save where he led with his blocker and his goal stick on the wraparound try here. Now watch his blocker and the goal stick, and his blocker is down, and I think the puck went underneath the top of the blocker and caught his fingers, which hold the goal stick, and that forced him to let go of the goal stick, and then during the stoppage, he took his glove off and was shaking his hand. That could be painful. Yeah, Brian Burke in the building 2 games in a row watching Montreal play. And I don't think he's here to watch Pittsburgh with their financial problems. I think he's here to watch Montreal.
Boy, isn't that interesting? That'll have people watching this game that are Canadiens fans perked up. Patrick Poulin. Now Barrasso's lost his stick again. It's behind the net.
Yeah, you wonder if his hand is sore and he can't hold it very well.
Joltok with the glove pass to Stevenson. That's whistled down. And well, you wonder.
You see underneath there, Chris, you have a little extra padding on the top of your fingers underneath the glove. But I think the puck went even underneath that. And when you're holding the stick and you get the puck against your fingers, that hurts. I mean, it really hurts. And then this is the second time where he loses it. As you see, he's bumped by Poulin. He had to get across the goal crease, so he let a stick go instead of having the stick act like an anchor and not allow him to move across the crease. And then Sorowick went behind, and he had to take a glove off to pick up the stick to give it back to Tommy Barrasso. Wasn't the most classic handoff, but it worked.
Canadiens open the scoring in the second period. Patrick Poulin with his second 9.5 minutes later.
Now you see here Kip Miller, he's been moved in place of Kovalov on the line with Lang and Morozov. So this Pittsburgh club is forced to change 3 forward lines, their top 3 lines. And as soon as they did, they came right out and got themselves a goal. But let's watch and see if they stay with it.
Alcott back in his own zone. Pass cut off by Miller. Looks for Morozov. Big second-year player. Makes a move to the slot. A backhand steered away. He looks like he's got all the tools, doesn't he? Morozov, 95.
Great skater, great shot. Really understands the game well for a young player. You know, this Penguin team scored on their 9th shot of the game. I think that's why they've had 10 make that 11 now with their last one. And here's a penalty upcoming to Savage.
As Hatcher moves in, the extra attacker doesn't get on the ice as the play is called.
You want an aggressive play all over the ice by your team, but when you lead with your elbow in the offensive zone in a 1-1 game late in the second period, you're asking for trouble. So Savage sits. Let's watch his elbow as he moves across. Offensive zone. It was the follow-through. The shoulder went in first to Morozov, and then the elbow went flying in the air, and the call is made by Paul Stewart. So this Penguin team will go on what can be at times a lethal power play. Their last one, their first one, wasn't. It wasn't very good at all, as Montreal did a great job on the penalty kill. They're ranked 18th. Boston was shut out yesterday on the power play by Montreal's penalty killing unit.
Here's how good the power play is. Earlier this year, they set a record with 12 consecutive power play goals.
Yeah, most of those on the road. And that Straka is playing the right point. One thing I noticed with him, especially yesterday in their game with the Rangers, when you go to shoot the puck out of the ice, or out of your zone on his side of the ice, he does a great job of keeping it in at the blue line. And that is an art.
So Barnes to take the drop. And it's won by Koivu. They can't get it out. Hatcher and Straka. There's Jágr. Kovalev also.
Barnes is setting up for that backdoor play, but he's being guarded by Weinrich.
Weinrich watching him closely. Now Jágr. To Straka. The Penguin goal scorer returns the pass. Kovalev now. Has he been watching the power play tapes? Straka, Hatcher.
Well, they've switched. Jágr's gone to the net, and Kovalov's gone to the half boards.
Over a half minute gone, and nothing yet. Now Hatcher's shot changed direction. Puck loose, and bouncing puck. Kovalev couldn't get a shot away. Very methodical in setting it up, aren't they?
Yeah, see how Montreal's not nearly as aggressive on the penalty kill as Pittsburgh is, but they can't go flying at Jágr because they'll just pass the puck down low, and you're dead for a goal against. So they're playing a very smart, tight penalty killing box here. Look at how they're staying deep. Nobody running after the puck carrier.
Here's the pass in front. They went backdoor on the other side to Kovalev. It was cut off. Barnes now, 45 seconds left in the power play. Yager shovels it across, and again, the pass didn't get to Kovalev. Alexei Kovalev hounded by Brisebois. 3 defensemen in the penalty-killing scheme for Montreal. Now Yager sent it across. It was knocked down by Rive. Yager leaves it for Barnes.
Every chance Pittsburgh's tried has been the pass across the top of the crease.
20 seconds remaining. Straka winds up, scores!
What a shot. What a shot. Weinrich was tied up with Stu Barnes on the near side, and Straka's shot went off the goalpost. It was a rocket on the ice. Straka now, with the 2 goals, has 12 on the season to tie him with Stu Barnes for the team lead. A power play goal on the offensive zone penalty against Savage. What a shot.
You know, they spent a minute 40 trying to set it up, but I was going to ask you, when do they just let fire? And
look at that, right through the legs of Weinrich. Theodore didn't see the shot, I don't believe. See, Barnes moves into the defenseman. He does that a lot. See how he's moving into Weinrich, creating the problem, and then the shot is just a laser beam. I mean, it is low, it's accurate, it's hard, it's quick, and off the goalpost it went. Pittsburgh team was in the zone, as you mentioned, for almost a full power play, but never got a clean shot, and not much of a shot. And finally, they got one by Straka. When he ran out of options, he just shot the puck, and man, did it work.
So we're in the final minute. That was just the second shot on the power play. And Morozov moves back in. He springs. Lang scores! Robert Lang. And suddenly it's 3-1. And we were talking about the response to adversity. The Canadiens coming unglued.
It was 1-0. Straka got a break as the puck went off of Quintel to him. 1-1. And then Straka scores on the power play with an offensive zone penalty, and then Montreal, and this is becoming their history. They're not doing well, as you see 2 men move across. Lang just stayed wide, a low shot, similar to the shot from the point, low and inside the goalpost. 2 players move over to 1 that leaves somebody open. And you know what this goal reminded me of? The tire last night in Pittsburgh with 14.8 seconds to go. Lang just stayed wide. Everybody went to the puck carrier. They moved the puck across to Lang, who was wide open for the play. And what a great shot. Great shot.
So first Straka on the power play, now Lang, and suddenly it's 3-1, the final minute of the second period. 19:15, the time of Lang's goals, and the goals come 15 seconds apart. Here's another chance in front. That one went by Rob Brown. Actually past Wawrinka too, the length of the ice. So again, like yesterday, the Canadiens play extremely well into the late stages of the second period. Yesterday they made it to the third.
And it's almost the same script. Boston changed their lines. They got it going. Pittsburgh was forced to change their lines because they had nothing going, and all of a sudden it's 3-1 in favor of the Penguins.
Straka from Kovalev and Yager, and then Lang from Morozov and Miller. It's 3-1 Pittsburgh.
CBC, Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by people at M-Banks, who believe that it's about time banking was about you.
Have you ever noticed how special life can get when it's focused on you? That's why we've created M-Banks, a bank built around you. It's about you being able to do all your banking after the kids are put to bed, and you actually have time to breathe. M-Banks. It's about time banking was about you.
And Montreal are 15 years in the NHL, 6 teams, never a home game in your hometown. Bobby Dallas, a quick comment on that very quick ending for you fellas in the second period.
Well, I think, we arrived last night around 3 o'clock in the morning. We were sitting in Pittsburgh for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, waiting for our plane to get fixed. I think we came out a little, probably a little raggedy. We started to get our legs underneath us, and fortunately for us, our power play is clicking. We've got so much talent out there. It's hard to take penalties against us. Sooner or later we're going to put it in.
Bob, I mentioned your long career. Any regrets that you haven't played a home game in Montreal?
Well, it's a lot of regrets, but it's like anything else. I've been hanging around. I got to hang around for a couple more years.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you very much.
Dallas of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who have the lead. It's 3-1 for Pittsburgh at the end of 2. Up next, Satellite Hot Stove on Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Thank you, bud.
Please call back during normal business hours. Bye-bye.
Give your customers the help they need whenever they need it with a self-service website by IBM.
Are you investing in this?
The kind of investment caught me by surprise.
Just how ethical are ethical mutual funds?
We're very diligent. We have some of the most rigorous approaches in North America.
Taking stock of your investments, Tuesday on Marketplace. When the jailers are the dealers, how do you stop them? One guard tried and paid the price.
I became a bad guy when I fried a couple of our staff.
The Rat Claws.
Don't cross that line, because if you cross that line, you're the bad guy.
Tuesday on the Fifth Estate.
The Mark Morris Dance Group. Coming to Montreal for the first time, this fabulously funky New York City dance company will bring you to your feet. Proclaimed by Baryshnikov as one of the greatest choreographers of our time, Mark Morris brings music to motion at Place des Arts on November 26th, 27th, and 28th. Mark Morris Dance Group, presented by Les Grands Ballets Canadiens and the Laurentian Bank. A limited engagement. Call 842-2112 now.
Does the volume of TV ads make your head explode?
Oh, yeah.
Industry Canada restricts broadcasters as to how loud we can be.
So how do advertisers beat the system? Find out on Undercurrent, Sunday at 10:30 on CBC. Breaking into the business of salsa.
I believe that the money's going to come.
But as soon as the money rolls in, it rolls out again. Starting from scratch, Venture, Tuesday at 8:30 on CBC Television.
Here's Al Strachan, Red Fisher of the Montreal Gazette's in Montreal with John Davidson. And Red, 6 of the last 7 the Canadiens have dropped. I know they've got injuries, but I hear panic. In your column, you were pretty severe today, saying that they have no backbone.
Me
So tell us.
severe? Me
Yes,
severe?
you
Are you
seemed
kidding?
it. You said their backbone is mush with the chance of an upgrade to Gusty or something like that. What was it?
No. Al Strachan wrote that.
What did you say? What do you think about the team?
The fact is, look, injuries are one thing. I mean, like, they're missing 6 players tonight, and yesterday they missed the same number. That's one thing. But when you collapse the way the Canadiens did in the 3rd period, that is strictly unacceptable. These players have to look in the mirror, and if they look in the mirror, they'll be told that they're not doing the job. I mean, you're leading 1-0 after 2 periods, after 2 great periods by the Canadiens, particularly Saku Koivu, and then you just go down the drain in the 3rd period. Sorry,
Brad, that's not the first time, is it? That's not the first time. Edmonton here was a great game. It was 1-1,
yeah,
and all of a sudden they gave up a goal and they went down.
This was far worse.
Why are they so fragile when they get down a goal?
Because they're not a very good team right now.
Is it leadership? Is it the character of the team? Is it chemistry?
They've got leaders. They've got the same leaders they've always had, but the fact is they're just playing lousy hockey. Maybe they're not good enough to play 3 consecutive good periods. You should be happy you got 2 out of them. You may have a point, Al. You're starting something nobody ever thought of.
Al, you thought it might be Reggie Houle that's the first to fall in all of this.
I challenge you to think of a very good trade that Reggie Houle has made, and who else would you blame for this? I mean, you can't really blame the players. Like, unlike Red, I think they're trying most of the time until it gets out of range. You can't blame him for the injuries, certainly, but that's just not as good a team as it was when he took over.
You buy that, Red?
Well, you know, Reggie's had some problems with trades, but so have every other general manager in the league has had trouble. Yesterday they were speculating Toronto that Reggie was out at the end of the year, that Ronald Corey was going to be out of the hockey end of it, and then they listed a whole bunch of names saying who's going to replace these guys. And the one thing that bothered me about it was that John Davidson, who's doing a heck of a job in New York, wasn't listed among the candidates.
Who was?
They're finally getting it right.
Who was in that list?
Well, they give you the job, Red. You've been doing it for years anyway. Well, you know, they had guys like Savard, of course, Cliff Fletcher, and Pierre Lacroix, Pierre Go, Jake. Come
Don't
on.
those guys
give me a
already have
break.
jobs?
I think so. I think so, yeah.
Okay, listen, before we go to break, let's do the Nedved-Kovalev situation with New York and Pittsburgh, John, and then we'll come back to Pavel Bure, because that's going to heat up as well.
Ronnie, there's all kinds of talk about the trade with the Rangers in Pittsburgh, that there was money flying here, money flying there, contracts being picked up. The only thing that went to Pittsburgh, besides the two players, Kovalev and Harry York, was a check for $2.5 million. Coming back to the New York Rangers way with 3 different players, including Nedved. End of deal. There's no more to it than that. The Rangers did make a deal with Ottawa, sending Bill Berg up there for Nets cash, and also a second rounder went that way. And the Rangers are picking up part of Billy Berg's contract. That's a fact. But all this speculation about Kevin Stevens' contract and more money and Rangers picking up part of Kovalev's contract, not true.
Okay, we'll take a break and come back and see if we all believe in that. The Satellite Hot Stove with J.D., Al Strachan, and Red Fisher returns in a moment.
Satellite Hot Stove, brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevrolet, tried, tested, and true.
How far would we go to engineer a car your whole family could enjoy? A well-built, agile car able to travel 160,000 kilometers before its first scheduled tune-up. That valued comfort at a price you could live with. How far would we go to remind you the best things, the things you value most, are built right here at home? How far? As far as it takes. Malibu. Tested and true.
The situation in Vancouver is becoming interesting both in the room and the boardroom. John Davidson, what's your theory?
Well, you know, Brian Burke told us 2 weeks ago tonight that he'd have a deal put in place. He's been unable to do that so far. He told me as of yesterday there's still more than 5 teams interested in Pavel Bure. He's not been able to put the deal together. And what's becoming interesting here is the Canucks and Mike Keenan getting antsy over this deal not being done. He's starting to do things like pulling goaltenders in the middle of games and stuff like that. Strack, is that Keenan trying to get a message across to Brian Burke?
Oh, without a doubt. Burke was in the stands at the time, but it's hard to get a message through to Brian Burke. I put in the paper that some of the players are unhappy with him. He says, I made it up. I don't need to make these things up. Believe me, there's plenty of things going on in the league.
Let's go.
No way. No way.
Let's get into this a little bit, because what happened is McGillney got hurt, and after the game, Brian Burke said, look, I don't care if he misses 5 games or we're missing 5 players, or if we lose 5 games, I'm not going to rush the Bure deal.
That's right. And so the players are upset that he's sort of taking that attitude, and he said, well, I didn't mean we'd lose 5. And of course he doesn't mean that. We know that. But the 2 points that the players make that he did not...
He challenged you, though, to name the player, and why wouldn't you?
Well, for the usual reasons, because players like living in Vancouver. Nobody names players anymore,
Name
and the players don't give you their names. No, there's more than one anyway, but I'm not going to name all their names.
Because Mark Messier told Brian Burke the players didn't do it. Not that he'd necessarily have any better chance than Brian.
Whatever, Mess can say what he wants to say. The point is that the player said this, so I'm going to finish this point despite you guys. Now, there are 2 points to be made here. First of all, the players think that Burke isn't working as hard as they are, and they want to see some sort of deal. And they're curious if he is still working for the Canucks or if he's still working for the league, because it seems to be a battle between him and Bure to keep salaries down, and meanwhile, these guys don't have any players. They've got a first line of McCall, Naslund, and Messier. You need more than that.
Two players out, right? They got Bertuzzi out, and they've got McGillney out. Two terrific players this season.
Plus the 3 you could get for Bure.
Look at Montreal, look at Washington, look at half of the league with players out. There's 3 teams healthy in this league right now: Phoenix, Philadelphia, and New Jersey. That's it. And I think it's an excuse if the players start thinking that way. Sure. I think Brian Burke has a big deal to put to bed here, and I think he will in time. Keenan's a coach. Brian Burke is the general manager.
That's right. What's the rush? What's the rush? I mean, he's not going to jump into the game he doesn't like.
They've lost 4 in a row.
Another bit of paranoia that will sneak into this is that this is Mike Keenan, because Mike's obviously going to, like Don Cherry always used to say, I'll take my team, pit him against Harry any day in order to get the best result on the ice. So they'll blame Keenan for this remark, not the players.
And Keenan has done a great job with the players that he's got, but he needs more players than that. Even Keenan can't work with these guys.
Anybody else? I just think that coaches love to win, period. They love to win now. They don't. Coaches get fired if they don't win now, and I think that's Mike's point. But I also think Brian's got a responsibility to his ownership and to the people in Vancouver to try to do his best to keep salaries down. And I think he'll put the deal together when he can, sooner than later.
What's more important in that, players in return or the money, the ability of the other teams to be able to sign Bure?
That's what we said last season on this show, how tough a deal that was going to be to make. Exactly. Because Bure, you have to get young talent back, 2 or 3 different people, and then you have to come up with a huge amount of money to pay the guy's salary. We said it right here on this show how tough a deal that was going to be to make.
That's what's blocking the Ranger deal, right? The Rangers are being asked apparently to give up Dan Cloutier, the goalie, and they don't want to give him up. They would rather give up Mike Richter if they have to give up a goalie. Yeah, but Burke can't take Richter. He could have had him for nothing in the summer, nothing in the term of players.
Well, there's no doubt the Rangers are expressing interest. There's no doubt. That's been made public by their general manager and president, Neil Smith. But he's not going to give up on too much young talent. You know, you got other people on. Remember the unrestricted free agents at the end of this season. People like Theo Fleury, Mark Recchi right here in Montreal. Maybe you'd be further ahead instead of going after Domfus, Quintel, going after people like this as opposed to going after a Bure.
Wish we had more time, John. I hate to cut you off here. And Al, I know you wanted to get in the Tragically Hips opening the Air Canada Centre, but you can't have that or Bure for a song.
Satellite Hot Stove. Brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevrolet. Tried, tested, and true.
Remember just how good homemade soup can taste? Well, it'll all come back to you at Tim Hortons. When you try our delicious new Tim's Own chicken noodle, it's got bow tie pasta noodles, sliced carrots, red peppers, and chunks of seasoned chicken, all in a hearty chicken broth. New Tim's Own chicken noodle. You'll love every drop, no matter how you get it. Come home for lunch at Tim Hortons.
Save hundreds at Future Shop's Everything's on Sale sale. Now through Monday, all computers, audio, video, major appliances, and cellular phones are on sale. IBM computers just $9.99. 25-inch Samsung stereo TVs just $369. And GE's 19 cubic foot top mount fridge only $9.99. Plus, purchase a ClearNet PCS phone and receive 1 of 3 special gifts and be entered to win an African safari. Hurry, because everything's on sale only until Monday. Only at Future Shop.
Launch mode for the most powerful minivan in the universe? Or an all-new Odyssey? Yes. A minivan that can alter space? Or an all-new Odyssey? Yes.
Well, you better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, whoa, he knows when you're awake. Oh, he knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out, you better not pout.
Buy right now and get your choice of a free Sony Sports Walkman or other great gifts.
You are trespassing on my land.
From the classic Daphne du Maurier novel.
We are at war. I'm invading.
A man, a woman, and between them, a war. Frenchman's Creek, Sunday on CBC.
Here in Montreal, 2 goals by the Pittsburgh Penguins in the last minute of play of the second period, and they lead the Canadiens by a score of 3-1. Game 2 of our Saturday night doubleheader from Calgary, the Flames and the Chicago Blackhawks, and standing by with the preview, Scott Russell and Kelly Rudy. Gentlemen.
Historically, the Chicago Blackhawks have been one of the NHL's better defensive teams. Not this year, Kelly, and it begins at the source in the net.
It sure does, Scott. Lots of problems here, and we're going to show some clips right here. Mark Fitzpatrick is a really solid backup, but the goals that you're going to see, these just aren't typical of his sort of goals to let in, and what ends up happening, you start to question yourself. The goals that we're going to see right here coming up from Thibault, he's going down way too early, but the beauty of this right now is that they have Tretiak to help these 2 young netminders, and Thibault really has a lot of time yet to develop, and we can't give up too early on him.
Right now, the Hawks are 26th in team defense in the NHL. Last year, they didn't allow 200 goals. What's the difference here?
They're young. They have 11 guys 23 years old or younger, and that really hurts them. Instead of mixing in 2 or 3 young guys, they have 20 or 11 guys that age, and it really hurts you defensively.
All right, the Chicago Blackhawks go with Jocelyn Thibault tonight against Jean-Sébastien Giguère of the Calgary Flames. Dick?
And here in Montreal, the Penguins down 1-0, came back with 3 in a row. Looks like same old story for the Canadiens. See what happens now in the upcoming third period. 3-1. The Penguins lead on CBC's Hockey Night in Canada.
All done?
Yep.
Oh! Oh. Subtle. What's an Ista 350?
Funny.
Chevrolet dealers are lifting the veil on flexibility and offering you the new Venture for only $298 a month or 2.9% purchase financing. It's the great revelation at your Chevrolet Oldsmobile dealer.
Finally, fresh squeezed taste. In a bottle. Tropicana Pure Premium Single Size. Perfect.
The freshness of the sea is yours at Omar Plus, offering a great selection of fresh fish daily, mouth-watering seafood, and tender, juicy steaks. Come aboard. Omar Plus is now offering 3 80-cent meals. Just order our 12 Icelandic scampi, or filet mignon with scampi, or chicken filet with shrimps, and get the second person's meal for 80 cents. So treat a friend for 80 cents. Omar Plus, dedicated to you.
Pontiac dealers are lifting the veil on sporty looks and offering you the new Sunfire sedan for only $198 a month or 2.9% purchase financing. It's the great revelation at your Pontiac Buick GMC dealer.
Martin Straka with 4 of the 11 shots for Pittsburgh in the second period. Man, a goal and an assist.
Great pass by Turner. Stevenson to the front of the net sets up Montreal for the first goal of the game. Poulin got the goal, his second, 1-0 Montreal. Straka with an easy backhand to tie the game in at 1, and then on the power play, Straka had nothing else to do, so he just blasted it off the goal post, 2-1 at the time. And here you see Lang getting the last goal late in the period, 19:15 of the period, and it's a 3-1 Pittsburgh lead as we begin the third. Had a disjointed training camp because of injuries and holdouts. And now they've had just a dreadful beginning to their season. You see here Constantine for Pittsburgh, the head coach, has kept Kovalov on the line in place of Barnes with Straka and Yager, so he has juggled his lines, and it has worked to perfection as this game has moved along.
Here's Galanov. Giveaway there. Rob Brown lost his stick as Koivu picked off the pass, but the Canadiens are offside.
Well, the last goal of the second period by Lang shows how Pittsburgh is a team that's masterful at drawing 2 people to 1. Just look at the two players there, Stevenson and I believe that's Malakoff, leaving Lang wide open to move in. They're masters at it. 2 men to 1, somebody open. You see the pass back across by Morozov, and there's the shot that got underneath and through Jose Theodore, and he was very unhappy with that goal, and so he should have been. Lang got his 9th. And Pittsburgh had the 2-goal lead going into the third. They are masters at drawing 2 defenders to 1 person with the puck, dumping the puck off, and then a great scoring chance as a result.
9 goals for Lang. Here's a guy picked off waivers from Boston. And he's a solid second-line center right now. And how many teams do you hear saying, boy, if we only had another second-line scoring center?
Well, Pittsburgh really does a job in finding players who have been cast-offs from other teams. I mean, whoever does their scouting and their research throughout the league does a great job for them.
Now with the Canadiens down by 2, they alter their lines. Ruchinski moves up with Recchi and Koivu. Nasruddin firing it back in, but Canadiens are changing as Morozov back in his own zone. Hatcher gives it to Kasparaitis. There's Barnes looking rink wide. And it's knocked back out to center by Malakoff. Hatcher will play it in deep. We're 2 minutes into the third period and a 2-goal lead for the Pittsburgh Penguins, looking for their 10th victory of the year. And the Canadiens trying to avoid their 12th loss. And another offside as Stevenson knocked it in. We're going to join Dick Urban with a Hockey Night in Canada update.
Well, in the second period in Toronto, the Senators nursed a 2-0 lead, although the Leafs outplayed them, and Toronto's play finally paid off. as Derek King scores his 9th from Steve Sullivan. Sullivan with the spinnerama, as Danny used to say. King gets the goal on the pass at the edge of the goal crease. Big one for the Leafs. They trail by 1 starting the 3rd period.
Leafs leading the Northeast, and the Canadiens in danger of falling further behind their Northeast Division rivals.
I think the Leafs in Nashville probably leading the league in surprised play. Phoenix, of course, having a great season, but Nashville, for an expansion team, was riding the goaltending of Mike Dunham, and the Leafs have been spectacular with what they've done, and that started right in training camp.
Here's Asham back in. You know, to a lesser degree, I think you have to add Pittsburgh to that surprise category, considering the financial problems of the team. Ron Francis' departure for Carolina. But Craig Patrick always seems to find a way, doesn't he?
He doesn't panic very much, does he? Keeps it quiet, gets the job done, taken care of. And they read into their system. When you think of their defensive system, defense first, videotapes, defense first, videotapes, more defense first and more videotapes, and then Yager won the scoring race last year. That's a pretty good combination. Now, Montreal, this season, last season, wins. And the big key is this season with the 59-man games lost to injury, and the majority of those on the top 2 lines. Corson, Recchi hasn't been able to play healthy at all. How about that? Hello, Brian. Nice to see you can get out. He's got the family up here.
That'll stir up the rumor mill, won't it?
He's seeing Montreal 2 games in a row. Is that interesting? I don't know. What do you think?
You know, you circled those man games lost, and that doesn't include the games lost because of contract holdouts for Savage and Ruchinski. Yager. And now Galanov.
The contract holdouts really affected this team. It affected Malakoff, too, because he had trouble getting going to begin the season. A very disjointed training camp for Montreal, and they have not recovered from it.
Here's Kovalev, deep in Montreal territory. Trying to ward off Rive, spins it back behind the net. Straka looks for it there. Wawrinka keeps it in. Now Straka dishes to Yager. Yager to Kovalev. Looking for some room and sending it across with Yager parked in front. Yager does have an assist tonight, his 29th point, so he moves into a tie with Correa and Lindros in the scoring race. Early 3rd period, 3-1 Pittsburgh here in Montreal.
Yes, this is Northwood School calling. We need you for a class today.
You never know when the call will come. One school one day, 25 new faces the next. That's the beauty of being a substitute teacher. I like the variety, and I enjoy the challenge, and I love the kids.
Okay, everyone, who's ready for a pop quiz on fractions?
It's a good thing the feeling is mutual.
Chevrolet Cavalier spark plugs are platinum tipped. For sure starts whenever the call comes.
That's a long time for that guy to go without a goal, but he has continued to be productive. Penguins have kept winning.
There's a set face-off play there as Ruchinski darted through the middle, but he couldn't take the pass as Koivu had won the draw. So Montreal trying set face-off plays to find offense. Good effort in that respect, but it didn't work.
Pass for Ruchinski too far to be kept in by Hatcher. Rolling it ahead for Herdina. Nasreddin for the Canadiens. Got it to defensive partner Ulanov and takes the return feed.
Montreal put Ruchinski on the top line to add offense. Poulin has been moved to that checking unit to go against Yager. So Montreal just now, knowing that they're down by 2, finding a way if they can to get offense. Set plays on face-offs, more offensive players together. However, the Koivu line has been shut down.
Here's Ulanov, right side for Koivu over the line, and it's offside. Nothing working for Montreal offensively.
Recchi
in the 3rd.
Sorry, Chris, Recchi has not had a shot. Koivu's had a couple, one in each period.
let's face it, John, Mark Recchi is
deserves
not
a medal.
Mark Recchi.
Yeah, he deserves a medal. I mean, he's down 8 pounds. He's been told to go back on the antibiotic to try and knock out the pneumonia that's sitting down in the lower portion of his left lung. In fact, today we were talking to him, and he looked like a bone rack compared to how he normally looks. And Red Fisher, the great writer here in Montreal, said, Mark, it's only in one lung. You got the other one. And Mark started to laugh, and because of that, he started to cough. And I thought he was going to go down for the count.
Yeah.
Red, with one of his lines, got Recchi laughing a little bit, but it hurts to laugh for Mark right now, and it hurts to laugh for he and his hockey club.
Now, you wonder if he's just prolonging the problem by playing through it, but
no.
the doctors have said no.
And the other thing I found interesting is the streak that he's on regarding the consecutive games. The next 4 players behind him, 3 of them are from the Philadelphia Flyers. It's not bad. Including Brindamore and Gratton.
There's Lang, who scored the 3rd goal for Pittsburgh. Nice move to get it ahead. Morozov sidestepped to check and fires it in deep into the Canadian zone. Malachi can't come up with it. Oud followed up. He lost it. Here's a chance for Barnes. Shot blocked by Quintal. Savage now turns. Ryan Savage. He's been dropped down a line now with Turner, Stevenson, and Oud. A shot to the side of the net. Savage comes up with a rebound. Eric Oud rolling it back in the corner. Savage watched by Morozov. Now Turner, Stevenson battling with Soroik.
Well, Savage took the key penalty in the second period, the offensive zone. The Penguins scored on the power play, and if you wonder, that's possibly why he's been moved down as far as lines go.
Both teams changing as Quintal slowly works it ahead. Rive sends it into the Pittsburgh zone. Poulin giving chase against Galanov. Good play by Poulin. They score! On the backhand, Poulin caused the turnover, and Hoagland gets the goal.
2 or 3 things to watch here, and you called it with a fine forecheck of Poulin that has led to 2 goals. Both Montreal goals because of Poulin's forecheck. And then when the puck was passed out from behind, Barrasso made a nice play with a stick. There's the dump in by Rive. Now look at 37. Look at that forecheck. Beautiful. Take the body. Now look at the stick of Barrasso. He stopped the pass out, and then it was just a little wee backhand shot by Hoagland that found its way through Barrasso, and Montreal's back in the game. Great check by Poulin. Not only did he throw the body check, but he won the puck. Barrasso stopped the puck from getting to Rive, but there was Hoagland to score on the backhand. What a terrific play by Poulin, and again, twice in this game, he has forced the turnover with his forecheck, and has led to 2 goals.
So the Canadiens get right back in it. Patrick Poulin has a goal and an assist, and Hoagland has his 2nd of the year. And those are a couple of the guys that have to step up and contribute with so many players on the disabled list.
That was against the big line for Pittsburgh. Good job on the forecheck as Galanov got nailed.
Here's Poulin racing it again, and Barrasso a big stop as Poulin had a chance to tie it.
Chris, that was weird. Galanov lost the puck. He's having a dreadful shift here. And then Barrasso seemed to be out 15 feet. 8 or 10 feet above the goal crease, and he had to do a stutter step across to get into position for the shot from Poulin. This is wild. Look at Poulin steal the puck, and look where Barrasso is. And he was out almost to the hash marks, and then he stutter stepped across to make the save. Boy, Poulin playing a heck of a game here for his hockey club, and Barrasso really is an aggressive goaltender. Most star goaltenders stay on the top of the goal crease. Barrasso likes to play 3 or 4 feet above it if there's nobody open to pass the puck to, and Barrasso made a nice save there.
Well, the Canadiens have heard all the criticism. They read Red Fisher, and they're trying to show their backbone here in the 3rd period. Raczynski backhand, gloved by Barrasso as Montreal takes the play to Pittsburgh.
Well, Montreal, with their line changes, have reacted in a similar fashion to the way Pittsburgh did in the 2nd period when they made line changes. And I think that the key the rest of the way here may be this line right here. Can Koivu and Recchi and Raczynski get it going? They just won the draw and got the backhand shot by Raczynski. As he moves in, you'll see him do a nice job on Hatcher and get into position for the shot.
This time Pittsburgh controls from the face-off. Moving it down into the Montreal zone, and Koivu back to get it.
Boy, Poulin just changed the complexion of the game, didn't he? With one play. Montreal looked to be dead and out of the game, and Poulin with some good effort just changed everything.
And now all the Canadiens with a little extra jump in their stride. Along the boards, Koivu can't get it loose, and Pittsburgh fires it down. 7 minutes gone, third period. Pittsburgh scored 3 goals in less than 5 minutes late in the second period, and now the Canadiens trying to answer back.
And they step up by Malakoff on Morozov. Didn't give him a chance to make a play. He was in his face.
Here's Recchi centering it across. It'll come back to Nasreddine, and the shot blocked by Morozov. And a whistle as the Canadiens try to turn up the heat in Montreal.
Var rädd om dig nu, Sven-Åke.
It's no wonder that children like this grew up to build a car like this. The new Volvo S80. Protect the body. Ignite the soul.
Well, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. Whoa, he knows when you're awake. Oh, he knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not pout.
Buy right now and get your choice of a free Sony Sports Walkman or other great gifts.
Hockey Night in Canada, the one and only.
There's the momentum changer for the Canadiens.
Boy, is he ever. You know, Pittsburgh has not lost after 2 periods with the lead over their last 44 times that that's happened. Of course, that goes into last season. April 10th, 97 at Tampa Bay, the Lightning came back to win. The Penguins have gone 39-0-5 in 44 regular season games since. Montreal last season lost 17 games by 1 goal. 4 this season already. They trail by 1 with 12:38 to go, and this game has changed its complexion.
And this building rocking right now.
November 19th, Poulin was in a fight, and he got knocked out cold. I mean, he was down. The sweater was over his head for a moment, and boom, he was down. Today, I was told that he was checked out to make sure that he was okay, and not for the leg injury, for the concussion. And whatever they decided on, he certainly looks to be okay. He has played a very strong game on behalf of his hockey club.
Turner Stevenson sends it back into the Pittsburgh zone. That's Oud forechecking. Savage looks for a loose puck. Stevenson gets a piece of his man. But it's Soroik out at center ice. Barnes with Lang. And Morozov, quick wrist shot. Then Theodore stops it and holds on. Dick Urban has a Hockey Night in Canada update.
Chris, a dandy play coming up nearly halfway through the third period in Toronto. Matt Sundin with a beautiful pass up through the center ice area on the money to Steve Thomas. And watch Thomas beat Damian Rhodes backhand short side. 9 minutes into the period, it's 2-2 in Toronto in the third.
A couple of teams that have been playing very well of late, Toronto and Ottawa.
Stevie Thomas enjoys playing back in Toronto. What a veteran move that was. Is he calm with the puck? Found the opening on a nice backhand goal. Mark Recchi takes the draw. Montreal lost a goal against their club by losing a draw in their zone yesterday in Boston. Recchi won it clean.
Did he ever? Boy, was that a clinic last night by Wayne Gretzky on faceoffs. Recchi goes to the bench after winning the draw.
And Hoagland steps on the ice. Gretzky won 9 of 11 in the first period. 16-5 during the game. And a lot of them against Stu Barnes, who is a real good faceoff guy, but he's had a tough go here recently.
Away goes Straka again. Remember, he went coast to coast earlier. He almost beat Weinrich there. And Weinrich held him up with the stick. I thought he was around the new Canadiens defenseman again. Well, that Straka has been dangerous tonight.
Yager moved up ice, and he tried to take out both defensemen. Right now, Yager's past center ice. He's trying to pull the defenders out to allow Pittsburgh to move up ice. Yager's way back at center ice. He's almost at the other team's blue line. He wants to pull people out to open the ice to allow the Penguins to move up like they just did there.
Boy, he was giving Weinrich a headache as Weinrich tried to make sure Yager was accounted for.
Well, you can't worry about him behind the red line because it's a two-line pass. However, you better be aware of where he is if Pittsburgh moves the puck up ice quickly.
Past the 9-minute mark of the third period, now a one-goal game. Jonas Hoagland with the second goal for the Canadiens. Puck dumped in and Rob Brown giving chase. There's Quintal back. Takes the hit from Brown. Gets it around and now Koivu. Right wing pass and there's Recchi on the move. Mark Recchi. And on the pass, Quintal was driving to the net. Koivu behind the net. Saku Koivu dances in front. Barrasso makes the stop. Koivu takes down Kasparaitis. Rachitsky in front. Recchi shot. Didn't get to the net.
Right, Recchi moved up the ice and he had in his face Kasparaitis all game long. Every time Recchi's moved up the right side, the left defenseman has been Kasparaitis. That's one of the few times Recchi and Koivu have gotten to the net.
Now here's a penalty coming up as Morozov was hauled down on the hook. Yeah, the Canadiens trying to play catch-up will have to play shorthanded.
Good morning, it's 6:28 in our...
Well, it's rain, rain, and more.
I can't believe you're leaving me.
There's a left jab.
The most sports. The most hockey. They call him Foucault. Endless movies. Over 100 channels of as much TV as you can handle. Bell Express View. Hardware available for as little as $12.49 a month. Weight loss not included.
Steven Quintal goes for two. It's a hooking penalty as the youngster Morozov made a great move. See, Malakoff's already over there and he loses the puck. Now Quintal moves across and you see he pulls down Morozov as Recchi tried to help out. By earlier, Yager, he's way up ice. So he's got one defenseman. Now he's going to go back to him and try to hold up Brisebois as the Penguins are coming out of the zone. You've got to try all kinds of different things to try and beat what the other team does to you when you're the best player.
Face-off win by Barnes. One power play goal on the night for the Penguins. That was the goal by Straka. And he's at the point.
We talked all game long about the backdoor play. Montreal took it away.
Here comes Hatcher.
So Straka scored from the blue line.
Now a shot by Yager from well out. Rebound comes back to Yager and Straka unable to keep it in. Usually Barnes is set up at the back door. That time Hatcher came in low. Now Kovalev drops for Yager. Back to Straka at the point. Nice move by Straka, but the pass, an errant one, kept in by Hatcher. Barnes lost control of it. Weinrich in turn lost the handle. And Pittsburgh regains possession. Back for Hatcher again. Stu Barnes. Again, three defensemen on the penalty kill for Montreal. Brisebois, Rive, Weinrich, along with Patrick Poulin. Yager behind the net, can't come up with it, and it's Weinrich to get it out. 50 seconds remaining in the power play. Barrasso headmans it quickly.
This power play spends a lot of time in your zone, and they try to suck you to one side of the ice and open it up. But for the first minute here, good job by the Habs.
Now Yager. Half-minute remaining. Straka coming off the bench now. It's Warenka in deep. Rolled it in front, and Recchi will wrist it down the ice. Again, Barrasso moves it quickly. Kovalev back on the attack. Drop for Yager. Back to Kovalev. Kovalev off the side of the net. Yager's rebound.
Set up by Barrasso with a quick pass up ice. The Penguins knew it was going to happen. They had one man at the center ice line, one man at the blue line, and all of a sudden a scoring chance.
And the penalty up. Quintal back on the ice. So the Canadiens weather that storm. And now with 8 minutes to go, they look for the tying goal.
See Poulin throw another body check. Great forecheck. Yager comes across and has some words with him.
Here's the chance. It's Savage, stopped by Barrasso. And again, it started with the hit by Poulin deep in the Pittsburgh zone. Canadiens got the chance. They're going after another. Here's Savage working in and a poke check there. Way back behind the play. Yager tied up with Nasreddine, who's lost a glove. It looks like he was ready to drop the other against Yager. Now Pittsburgh counters. Rob Brown. Here's Kip Miller trying to get by Savage in front. Yager couldn't come up with it. Kasparaitis. Oh, it's been a good hockey game. Canadiens coming close to the tying goal just moments ago. Now Weinrich up on right wing, but Morozov got a piece of that. Here's Savage racing in again. Shot blocked by Hatcher. Oud behind the net. And it's dumped to the line and out.
Now Barrasso with a big save. A super penalty kill by Montreal. Then they got the goal-scoring chance at even strength. And Savage was robbed by Barrasso on a great setup. And again, Poulin was part of the play.
6:46 left. Stevenson crashing in there. Malakoff's shot is blocked. And Morozov at center ice.
That's two good blocks here in the third period by Morozov. The young player, not only a shooter and a goal scorer, playing well with his body.
Now Stevenson knocks it down against the boards, and it pops over the glass and out of play. Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Labatt Blue.
Wildcat. A taste of the wild.
The Chrysler Intrepid has something for everyone. A 200 horsepower aluminum engine, air, and a 4-speaker stereo. For the unmarried. 4-speed automatic transmission plus power locks and windows. For the married. And low payments for the really, really, really married. The Intrepid, only at your local Chrysler retailer.
Wildcat. A taste of the wild.
Sunday, 2 hours of Disney fun with Flipper. An all-new Emily of New Moon. And from Daphne du Maurier, Frenchman's Creek.
Just saw Tom Barrasso talking to Straka regarding the upcoming face-off. Barrasso made a big save. You see Montreal wins the puck on the boards. The setup by Koivu, what a shot. And Barrasso read the play beautifully. That was the Savage shot. That's, I would think, Barrasso's best save during a game, don't you think?
Absolutely.
He's certainly one of them. He's got those, the only guy in the league that's got the pads that have the toe caps covered and a hinge that's back on the side of his goal pad. Each side is very different. They're very light, foam-like goal pads for Barrasso.
Here's Malakoff from the face-off. Koivu buried in front. That one over. Barrasso hit the post. Oh, the Canadiens coming close. Recchi, Koivu, Brzezinski on the attack. Koivu can tell cheating down the pass in front. Recchi couldn't get his stick on it.
A great pick behind the net by Brzezinski allowed the play to stay alive. A little more zip with Montreal in this game. Now they're showing some character here. They were down 3-1 and questioned all over the place, including by me. But they've shown some character.
Yeah, they've heard that criticism and trying to answer it here tonight.
When Rick Fisher writes something, I guess they kind of listen out here.
Sure do.
Get him on the payroll.
5:45 to go. And it's 3-2 Pittsburgh as Barrasso scoops that up and holds on.
Elegant gift wrapping says a lot about your gift, and it also says a lot about you. Now we're going to start with a textured foil. Even if you're all thumbs, wrapping like this is easy. Now I like to pre-cut the tape so I can just place it on the gift.
Pay as you go from Cantel AT&T. No monthly bill, no credit check, and no contract.
Here we have the final gift. Oh, of course, don't forget to remove the price tag before you start wrapping. I think this is beautifully wrapped, and I would be happy to see
See Saku Koivu taking the helmet off. A lot of times you take the helmet and visor off to try and cool down. It's very hot inside there, and he's trying to get his stamina back, coming back from the injury.
Canadiens win another face-off. It comes to Nasreddin. Oud parked behind the net. Urdina bodying him along the boards. Oud and Urdina continue that battle. Now Stevenson and Kasparaitis. They had something going in the first period. Tangle up, and it comes out to center. Nasreddin back in his own zone to set up.
Penguins trapping. It's an aggressive trap. Miller wins the puck there. Nasreddin recovers it. Let's watch the trap and see if it works for the Penguins. As soon as the first play is made, then they'll put some pressure on. First pass, a little bit of pressure right there.
Up it goes to Stevenson and over the red line and in deep. Barrasso sweeps it around, kind of fanned on it. Oud got there first. And the Penguins regain possession and out they come. Miller flips it in. He'll head to the bench on a change. 4:44 left. Out comes Kovalev. Poulant couldn't get by Lang. Now Alexei Kovalev across to Dallas and he'll whip it in. After Poulant just bouncing it out through center ice.
Chris, you mentioned during the commercial to me you think that Paul Stewart has let them play. I agree. I think the players have learned a lot regarding obstruction, and I think the referees have lightened up a little bit, and it makes for a real good watch.
So it's nice to see Stewie back for more than one reason. Here's Asham and his shot going wide of the net. The youngster coming out with under 5 minutes to go in a one-goal game. Aaron Asham.
Well, guess who they're... Well, Poulant was out there again. Hoagland, they were trying to get the Yager line a little bit.
Now Straka rings the board. Barnes looks for it.
Here's a shift. Best line against best line.
And away goes Koivu. Wyszynski wide. Recchi trying to catch up. Koivu upended. Paul Stewart continues to let him play, and he's not as popular now in Montreal. But Koivu's up with the puck. He leaves it now for Wyszynski off the boards. Malikov, here's the shot. A pass, and Brisebois was tied up. Recchi whips it wide. Warinka lost his stick. Comes back to Recchi. Here's the shot off target. Koivu looks for the rebound. Can't come up with it. And Hatcher to the line, kept in by Malikov. More pressure by the Canadiens' top line.
That was top line on top line, and the Koivu line got some pretty good action going as the puck is deflected into the stands. You mentioned Wyszynski was tied up. It was Yager that came all the way back to get the job done.
Good morning. It's 6:28 in our...
Well, it's rain, rain, and more.
I can't believe you're leaving me.
There's a left jab.
The most sports. The most hockey.
They call him Foucault.
Endless movies. Over 100 channels of as much TV as you can handle. Bell Express View. Hardware available for as little as $12.49 a month. Wait.
Open the door, please. Open it now.
Jack! Open the door!
Artificial intelligence at its finest, or an all-new Odyssey. Yes. A minivan of monolithic proportions, or an all-new Odyssey. Yes.
Shot 7-3 in favor of Montreal. In the third period, they have the only goal. Hoagland from Poulant and Rive at 5:58. But they're a goal short at the moment with 3 minutes left in the third. Rob Brown up with the puck in the Canadian zone. Now Malikov.
I like Stevenson playing right wing. He's out there against Kasparaitis, and he just threw a big hit into Kasparaitis near the Penguin bench. Let Recchi go against somebody else. Keep your big forwards for Kasparaitis.
Stevenson unable to get it in deep. That almost sprung Kip Miller. Now Stevenson on his wrong wing. Tied up with Brown, but Zoltak gets it in. Miller is able to get it out. Brown after it, and he'll get it into the Canadian zone as Pittsburgh changes. Now down to 2:18 to go. Weinrich plays it back. Here's Brisebois away from the forechecking of Kovalev. Patrice Brisebois headmans to Koivu. Here's Wyszynski shooting, and that one was knocked down by Soroik. Wyszynski tried to play it over to Recchi, broken up by Morozov, and Pittsburgh gets it out. Boy, that was a dangerous looking rush. And this line's been a handful for Pittsburgh in the third period. Recchi, Koivu, and Wyszynski. Here's Recchi and Koivu back in. Koivu plays it to Weinrich. Rich shot. Oh, Recchi with the tip. And Barrasso the save.
They got Recchi and Koivu on the ice again, and it's not against Kasparaitis. This is a good matchup for Montreal.
They change, and they may get time for one last shift in the Final half minute of the game. Under 90 seconds to go now. Weinrich ahead. There's Savage. It opens up. Brian Savage taken down. Penalty upcoming.
With 1:17 to go.
Canadiens want a penalty shot, and Paul Stewart said no.
Well, he made the right call. I mean, he wasn't in home free. Savage was hooked down. The defender, I believe it was Warenka, the left defenseman, lost an edge. He just went flying on his own. That opened up the ice, and I thought it was a good recovery on the other side by the Penguins. Now you're going to see on the right side, Warenka goes down, and there's Hatcher with the hook, Yager with the hook. And I don't think it was a clean-cut breakaway. I don't think it should have been a penalty shot, even though most fans here wanted for the home team for there to be one. You have to have a real clean-cut breakaway. He had the sticks right into the midsection, but those players skating with Savage were very close to him. It may have been really exciting to see one, but I think Paul Stewart made the right call.
Well, here's another option you will see, though, John. I'm expecting with 1:17 left, goalie pulled, and we may see the Canadiens with a two-man advantage.
Halifax, Barrie, Ontario, gateway to the Muskokas on the shores of beautiful Lake Simcoe. I'm Dan Gallagher, inviting you to join me and two local boys as they go head-to-head on the Labatt Blue Shootout. Join us later here on Hockey Night in Canada.
1:17 to go in regulation. Theodore on the bench. Montreal 0 for 2 on the power play. Haven't registered a power play shot. What a chance to tie it up.
Recchi beat Kessa on the faceoff. Malakoff, point shot, deflecting through. Recchi couldn't reach it. He was tied up. Now Koivu. A two-man advantage, and the puck got by Breezeball. Open net. Martin Straka scores.
It's a hat trick. Boy, I'll tell you what. The Kasperitis do a job. Straka gets the hat trick. It's a two-goal lead with 59.8 to go. Recchi won the draw. The puck was put down low, and Recchi tried to get to the loose puck, and it looked like Barrasso was out of the play. Kasperitis tied him up beautifully. Kasperitis has played a strong game here. Quiet, strong game. No big body checks or anything like that. And you're going to see your Koivu battle along the boards. And here you see, oh, this is the play where Straka was able to get loose as the puck couldn't be kept in, and he hits the open net for the empty net goal. What an attempt it was by Montreal, and Recchi was right there. He had a chance to find the puck, but Kasperitis tied him up. Over on the right side, right there. Kasperitis does a great job, and Recchi couldn't get there. He just couldn't get there, and then you see the puck battling along the boards there, and Pittsburgh ends up getting the empty net or the crushing goal, and that sends people to the stands.
Here's Raczynski as again Theodore goes to the Montreal bench. So it's 4-2, still a two-man advantage. That goal coming at the 19-minute mark. Short-handed, there's a blast, just wide, and Savage back to Malakoff, puts it through, and that changed direction. Ricocheting high. Malakoff a chance again.
Got to shoot it. You need 2 goals. Get it to the net.
Weinrich spots Koivu. Recchi in front, and the puck was knocked down in front, and Paul Stewart is calling a penalty.
Yes, as Recchi was pulled down in front, the Penguins will be minus a couple of players here, and Theodore will stay on the bench. It's 27.4 seconds to go. That goal by Straka. Warenka did a great job as he gets the assist to move the puck up ice to allow Straka to have the chance at the empty netter.
It's Yager going on. And we'll see the old 3-man advantage here.
The old one. You just don't see it too often. You see in front, there's Yager picking up and pulling down Recchi. Face-off is the big key now for Montreal, trailing by 2. Recchi's got to win the draw. And then get the puck to the net as quickly as possible. Keep it down low. Hopefully for Montreal, they'll be able to find a rebound or get a deflection or something along those lines. I think, too, Chris, if the draw is won by Pittsburgh, the defenseman, I think, Warenka is a timeout call, will fire the puck around the boards. And if Montreal loses the draw, they got to have a person on the far boards to keep the puck alive and in the zone.
You know, John, the result may end up being the same as yesterday in Boston, but the storyline certainly a lot different here.
In the third period, yeah, Montreal showed a lot more character here and have really battled back and at times carried the play. And the group of fans that left after the empty netter, they may be missing something rather interesting here. Who knows what's going to happen now? Time the enemy, certainly, of Alain Vigneault and his team.
But you don't see 6 skaters against 3 very often.
No, I think this could be extremely interesting. Again, if Recchi wins the draw, puck to the net for the key shot, keep the puck down and look for the rebound. If you're seeing Warinka, he's the defenseman in behind Lang. He's a left-handed shot. If he gets the puck, he's going to fire it around behind the net, I would think. And Montreal should have a person over there to keep it in. This is the man over here on the left side, Warinka.
Recchi and Lang jostle, and Recchi kicked it back. Malakov, there's the shot wide. Rich loose puck. Richinski rolled it wide on the backhand. Recchi again beats it to the point. Sprawling was Kasparaitis, couldn't get the shot through. Richinski on the doorstep, they score! 11.7 seconds remaining. It's a 1-goal game.
And out of the penalty box comes Kevin Hatcher. It'll be a one-man advantage. I would think Montreal will leave Theodore right on the bench. And you'll see as the puck was never covered up by Barrasso. What a battle in front. The shot may have been kicked in. It kicked in and may have been in the crease prior to that too. Montreal gets a goal here. Is this Richinski that ends up scoring it? What an effort by him, but I don't know if it's within the rules of the game. The puck is going to be put towards the goal. Inside the crease the puck is, and he flips down towards the ice, and his leg kicked the puck in.
It looked like just the momentum of being upended, which would not be,
and I think
intentionally kicking it in.
Now the phone has just rang downstairs. I'm just watching downstairs at the timekeeper's box, and the phone was ringing, and I saw the man pick it up. Now he's hanging it back up. So it's a goal.
Yager's telling Stewart, hey, they're calling down. And now he is going to get the phone.
Yeah, the other phone has just rang now. They had 2 of them going. The right one rang, and the guy answered it, then he hung up, and then the left one was ringing, and there's Paul Stewart talking to the people upstairs.
That was hilarious, because Yager said, Paul, the phone's for you, and Stewart said, no, I'm not taking it.
No, it's a goal. See, the man upstairs has to call down and say if there was a man in the crease or whatever. Stewart, as the referee, can say what he saw to overrule anything. Now here you see Richinski on top. The puck is now in the crease, and as he goes down, the puck is kicked in. What I find interesting is he was in the crease, the puck came out of the crease and then went back in. However, it's allowed to stand, 11.7 to go. Hatcher will stay on the ice. Richinski gets the power play goal. Theodore stays on the box. Now look at this man over there. That's a set play too. If Recchi can win the draw, and he's been good on draws. He's up against Kessa.
So 6 skaters against 4. Canadiens come up with it. And Malakov will drive it in on Barrasso, and he'll hold it, and he will get a face-off. 3.1 seconds left.
See what he did there, though? He dropped the puck and killed another second or 2, and then he covered up again when he was pressured. That's smart play. If Barrasso held onto the puck, the whistle would have sounded. It would be 5-6 seconds left. Instead, he dropped the puck, but a couple of seconds, and as he was pressured, he jumped on the puck. Now there's 3.1 to go. Montreal needs a left-handed centerman. That'll be Recchi. I don't know if he'll go and try and draw the puck back for the shot or go forward with the shot. The Montreal coaches are now telling the players what to do. They line Savage up on the left board. They've got Weinrich in behind. Koivu's going up on the line, and Malakov is back.
They already have 5 shots on this power play and 1 goal. And again, it was Richinski from Recchi and Koivu, and it's Recchi on another faceoff. Kicks it loose. Here's the last shot, and it's deflected high, and the Canadiens will run out of time.
Well, Pittsburgh gets a late tie last night against the Rangers, arrive at 3 in the morning here in Montreal, and worked their way into a 1-goal win. Montreal looked like they were folding at the end of the second. They showed some character and battled back, but they lost their 5th game this season by 1 goal after losing 17 last season by 1 goal.
Martin Straka with the hat-trick goals, 10, 11, and 12. Tom Barrasso wins his 331st career game, so he moves ahead of Harry Lumley into 11th on the all-time list. Barrasso with 28 saves in the win.
Really thought with Montreal floundering at times during the game that Patrick Poulin gave them some life. His forechecking, body work created turnovers for 2 goals for Montreal, and I think that he deserves a lot of credit for their comeback.
10th win of the year for Pittsburgh, and the Canadiens now have fallen 5 under 500. 4-3 the final here. Let's go to the Gardens in Toronto and Bob Cole.
Chevrolet dealers are lifting the veil on reliability and offering you the new Cavalier sedan for only $188 a month or 2.9% purchase financing. It's the great revelation at your Chevrolet Oldsmobile dealer.
Fido makes a great Christmas gift, although wrapping him up's always a bit tricky. This Christmas, pick up the Nokia 5190 for just $75 and we'll double your airtime for 1 month. Plus, we'll give you a red or blue faceplate absolutely free.
Warning, this film contains nudity.
The stripper's here.
Death.
I think she's dead.
Vengeance. Murder. Strong language.
Fire in the hole, big guy.
Dead bodies.
We got their parts all mixed together.
Violence.
Kill the dog?
Power tools. Headbanging. And other very bad things.
That's the way we do it.
Christian Slater.
Oh, God, I can taste it.
Cameron Diaz.
You calling me from jail?
Very bad things.
Not yet.
Now playing at a theater near you.
Tissot, 4050 Jean Talon West, Moselle.
Pontiac dealers are lifting the veil on the sportiest minivan and offering you the new Transport for only $298 a month or 2.9% purchase financing. It's the great revelation at your Pontiac Buick GMC dealer.
Back as we connect the two shows now from Montreal and Toronto. Let's show you the Ford 3 stars of this evening's games at the Molson Centre and Maple Leaf Gardens, beginning with the Pittsburgh, well, actually, beginning with the Toronto victory. Derek King, the #1 star with the heroics, game winner in OT, +1 to go with that earlier. Curtis Joseph, sensational, and Alexei Yashin got his 7th goal of the year. At Montreal, Martin Straka had the hat trick. He actually scored an empty net goal that proved the winner, 4-3 the final. Patrick Poulin was terrific for the Canadiens, who, despite all the flack they're getting in the papers, were good. And Alexei Morozov, watch for him. He and Robert Long and now Alexei Kovalev have formed a great line. Derek, congratulations. A thrilling win, obviously, for the home side. Tell us how you feel.
Yeah, it definitely was. Still kind of coming down from it. You know, it's almost like we've been playing some playoff hockey lately, the way our schedule's been. And, you know, getting down 2-0 against Ottawa, and we've been struggling against teams in our conference, and this was a big character builder, and we said that, and we came out and won the game.
I keep hearing theories on the differences in the conferences, and I can't imagine that there is such a vast difference, but you tell me what you think.
I mean, last year I think we played a trap where we should have probably been more of an offensive team, and this year we probably should be more of a trap team, but we're playing an open-up, more offensive game, and I think we just got to settle down when we're playing against our conference teams because they tend to play a little more checking game and tighter checking and a trap.
Do you think it's size that has a lot to do with it? Philadelphia's a big New Jersey, couple of the front runners.
Well, I mean, they're a big team, and that's where I think our speed and our quickness has to help. You know, besides that one line the other night against Lindros's line, besides that, I thought we were fine. And tonight, you know, even tonight's Ottawa is a big team too, but, you know, I thought we outskated them.
Right, Harry Neal felt your loss yesterday was one of the best games in the recent 3 or 4. Let's look at the 2 goals, and then we'll get back to the team. But congratulations on these 2. Tell us about them.
Well, I remember I wanted to get the puck onside before I gave it to Sully. He made a great play here with a lot of patience. And I mean, when you get that much net to shoot at, you better put them in. And I've had my share of those over the years, so I made sure I got it. This was a great pass by Alan McCall. I didn't expect it, and I was kind of reaching back. I just shot it at the net, and it just happened to go 5-hole. It had eyes.
Yeah, there's 2 good points you made there. Gaining the blue line before the pass is an excellent tip for the kids, and stick on the ice would obviously be another one.
Yep, definitely.
You and Steve Thomas, Fountain of Youth, and your old pals playing together on the island. Does that maybe account for why you got the magic back? Or?
I don't know what it is. We both encouraged each other to do well this year, and I think Stumpy brings my game to another level. I know he did on the island, and even watching him here, the way he works and the way he plays, he's 35 years old, and he's still playing like he's 18, so if that doesn't inspire the rest of the guys on the team, I don't know what will.
How about the power play? That's a big one, and that's again, it's like comparing conferences. How do you explain why sometimes you get on a roll and not? But what do you think?
If I had the answers, I'd probably be one of the most wanted coaches in the league.
Well, you might be, based on what we saw in those two goals.
You know, the big thing is just get a lot of shots, and we tend to, I think, overpass it a lot, and we give up a lot of good opportunities. And, you know, like I said, I got the puck, and I just happened to shoot it on the net, and it went in. That's pretty much how power plays work.
I'm sorry to do this to you. Look, Dick, if you'll just hold on in Montreal, I want to ask Derek, it's kind of like asking, you know, after he scored a goal in overtime, but there's a lot of talk lately about the 5-minute overtime. Do you think it should stay, or would you as players feel that maybe just settle for a tie in regulation?
Well, you know, I played a bit in the minors, and anytime we went into overtime, if the other team won the game, the other team would still get a point for getting into overtime. So I think maybe that wouldn't be a bad way to do it. So the team that does lose in overtime, they're not punished for playing a good game.
Excellent. Congratulations on a big 2 points tonight.
Great, thank you.
Derek King of the Toronto Maple Leafs with 2 in a winning cause. Now Stu Barnes, who's had the hot hand for Pittsburgh most of the year with Dick Irvin.
Well, Ron, I'm going to ask Stu just the same thing. Finish this thought, overtime. Do you like it? Do you agree with it? Would you like to see it abolished? Whatever.
Well, I think, you know, I'm I guess, traditionalist. I like, you know, the game as it is, and you know, we've done all right this year in overtime. So for now, I think I'd like to leave it alone.
You're doing all right on the road, Stu. This is your 12th road game this season, and your 7th win. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's almost like we were last year. You know, we've for some reason we just seem to play well on the road. We keep it simple, and that's kind of one of the directions we want to go is simple hockey. And for some reason we stay with that on the road.
This is a hockey club that loses Mario one year. Ron Francis is gone this year. Does someone like yourself feel that you have a different role as this thing evolves?
Well, I think we're all trying to step it up. You know, like you said, exactly. We lost Mario 2 years ago, and we had a little bit of I guess period there to break in, and so I guess the adjustment losing Ronnie was I guess we knew what to expect. It wasn't easier, I wouldn't say that, but we knew what to expect, and I think everybody's just trying to play hard, and we've got a lot of guys in this team that really want to be a part of the team and play hockey, and that makes a big difference.
Boy, a late tie last night against the Rangers, a 4-3 win here tonight in Montreal. I suppose I'm going to update the guy that's asked you about this, but all of the financial turmoil surrounding the club, has it affected the hockey players in any way?
Yeah. It's been pretty good. You know, we've as far as day to day for us, just coming to the rink and playing games and practicing, it's been pretty normal. You know, the fans in Pittsburgh have been great. They've been showing up even though with all the turmoil. Obviously, we hope it all works out and everything, and the team's there for a long time. But for us, day to day right now, we're just trying to play hockey.
You haven't missed a paycheck.
Nope. Nope.
Well, that's the good news. Stu, thank you for dropping by, and congratulations, you fellas, on a good win on the road again for you.
Thank you very much.
Stu Barnes of the Penguins tonight here in Montreal. Ron, 4-3 winners over the Canadiens. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Richard. See how he stepped on the ice with his left foot? That should mean he's a right-hand shot, but it doesn't. Anyway, Derek King, 2 goals, and he's the #1 star here in Toronto. Tom Barrasso, Robert Long, and Martin Straka lead the Pens at Montreal.
This is the climate. MotoMaster works here. If the weather around here had its way, some days you'd never even get started. That's why MotoMaster offers a line of climate-proven batteries, including our top-of-the-line Eliminator. With 1,000 cold cranking amps, Eliminator will start your car even in the most severe conditions. And it's backed by an 84-month comprehensive warranty. This is the brand. This is the climate. MotoMaster works here.
Introducing the 1999 Ford Windstar. The only minivan to earn a 5-star safety rating 5 years in a row.
The Kiss Army reunites the world's first 3D concert. Kiss in 3D. The Psycho Circus Tour. Now December 1st in Molson Center. The first time in history. All 4 original members in 3D. Ace Frehley, Paul Stanley, Peter Criss, Gene Simmons. Hurry and get tickets right now. Kiss in 3D. It'll blow your mind. Produced by Donald J. Donald Universal.
Open the door, please. Open it now.
Jack! Open the door!
Artificial intelligence at its finest, or an all-new Odyssey? Yes. A minivan of monolithic proportions, or an all-new Odyssey? Yes.
We're back. There are the two finals. Martin Straka's first hat trick of the year. By the way, Jaromir Jagr hasn't scored a goal in 10 games, but he leads the NHL in assists. 1-goal victory for the Pens at Montreal. The Canadiens continue to struggle, though they did battle back in this one. And here in Toronto, it was 3-2. The Ottawa Senators, a 2-0 lead. But the Maple Leafs, who'd really struggled within their own conference, rally with 3-2 from Derek King.
You're going to see that goal? You want to?
We're going to see it right now. This is the game winner by Derek King in OT.
Watch Johnson in front. He's the guy that caused the goal. All you kids, watch him standing right in front. That's how King can score the goal. Watch, he goes right in front here. Rhodes is going to look up. He can't see a thing, and he just puts it on the net. Watch, see right here? Watch, he can't see a thing. Boom! Puts it in the far corner, stand in front, and screen that goalie.
What a pass by Alan McCauley. Now you have a couple of plaques here.
Nice, a couple of guys drop in, and this here, right here.
David Darrow Binks brought this in, and it's a connection here. Let's see. Harold Darrow won the Stanley Cup in '32 with Dick Irvin Sr.'s Maple Leafs, and he's a great nephew of Jack Darrow, who won 4 Stanley Cups with the Ottawa Senators.
That's
so
something.
One of the Darrows in the rink tonight.
And that's something.
Keeping up the tradition.
Thought that was pretty nice. Told him to get it on. That's pretty good.
What do you think about the game as a whole? Curtis Joseph, obviously in the second period, came up huge.
You see something. Comes up with the big saves. This guy. Remember, I said to Glenn Sather, I said he's worth $6 million. Remember that 6? He's worth $6 million. And again, I say nobody's worth $6 million. But if anybody is worth it, he's a beauty. And I called for them to have more points than anybody, if you remember, in any Canadian team.
You're right. They played more games though.
Yes, and the other guys got to win them. Hey, because of 2 guys. Well, Stevie Thomas is doing pretty good, too, but Pat Quinn has got them playing. He's got them right in the palm of his hand.
I just want to get information from the truck. Paul, what did you just tell me there? Okay, we got the out-of-town scoreboard. We're going to go around, and this will keep us amused for a couple of minutes.
Whoa.
Anyway, Carolina won this afternoon.
I love that Carolina. I love their sweaters, and I love their team. Imagine those kids, guys, playing with 5,000 in front of them all the time.
Florida Panthers, Hasek got chased after a period in this game.
Yes, and you should have seen the fights in this one. A lot of fights in this one.
Shots were actually 17-5 for the Panthers. I think Lindy just said, look, if you're not going to support Hasek, we're going to get Rolison in there and do something, but it hasn't worked out. The Panthers won last night over Tampa and are winning again tonight.
One of my favorite hockey players, Conroy. This guy is an old-time hockey player. I love that kid.
Craig Conroy was at the Hockey Hall of Fame last year. He came up and said, thank Don Cherry, by the way. My family was never so excited as when you mentioned him. Jason Arnott, you know what, has been playing really well. That's not a lot offensively for Jason, but you know, he was dominant in Phoenix the other night. They just couldn't get it done. And Colorado's got a goal by Deadmarsh, so they're all even at 1. The Phoenix Coyotes are the hottest team in the NHL.
Yeah, and don't leave out New Jersey, boy. The Brodeur, he's right back again, and isn't it good to see Jason? All the trouble he's gone through, he's finally scoring.
Phoenix, incidentally, will go tonight for their 16th game. They've gone 16 now, giving up 2 or less. They'll try to make it 17. They're too shy of the NHL record. Rick Tocchet, Jimmy Waite.
Yeah, but Rick Tocchet, he's a leader. Mike Keenan said he's the greatest leader he ever saw in hockey.
And he's playing on a line with Greg Adams.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to one-up you, but
remember that there?
Yes, Greg Adams.
Remember the 2 overtime goals?
He should have had a hat trick the other night. He was sensational. So they're playing in Los Angeles.
If he can keep healthy, he'll get 35 goals.
And that, we were discussing on the hot stove, the experts, whether they were a one-line team with Tkachuk and Roenick. But
who cares as long as they're winning?
They're not. Daniel Briere along with Adams and who'd you mention? Tocchet. That's been a sensational
Daniel
lead
Briere,
as well.
He was in the prospect game. Remember that?
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
All right.
Fenced him.
I'm listening to you as best I can, but I've got something riveting for you to watch. Cobourg, Ontario's Steve Smith. Most beautiful arena. I want to say hi to the Royal Bombay Bicycle Club at the Dutch Oven in Cobourg. All the guys will gather around the table tomorrow and talk about this feature that I don't think they believe me that I'm introducing the feature. Yes, I'm introducing your feature on Steve Smith of the Calgary Flames, who's getting ready for the Hawks.
I can always remember Larry Robinson was always a hero of mine and always will be. And I remember the year I heard that he was 40 and playing in the league, thinking to myself, geez, I'd certainly like to play as long as him. But at age 35 right now, it's just one day, one step at a time.
Steve Smith's back and working hard toward his goal. Playing this time as a Calgary Flame, his retirement from Chicago brought on too soon because of injuries.
I felt that I was cut short. I felt the rug was pulled out from under me. I felt that I still had something to add to the game, and I think the year off gave me opportunity to get healthy again, number one, and number two, get energized and excited about coming to the rink again.
Steve's return to the rink came last season as an assistant in Calgary, if you can believe it, Edmonton. His return to the ice as a player was an off-season evolution.
I talked to Al Coates about it in July at a golfer at one point in time. He said, you've been training hard. I have the feeling you want to play. And I said to him that I would continue to train hard. I would step up my training in the 1st of August. I'd start to skate. I'd give him a report on how I felt. If I felt good, I would step it up that much more. And then we'd start talking about whether or not there was going to be a comeback.
He did a tremendous job as a coach, and now he's got to switch gears a little bit, and he's a player again, and I think it's only going to help him become a smarter player.
You may think his experience makes him valuable in talking to the young Calgary Flames team, but Steve's leading by example and leaving the coaching to others.
I try to stay completely away from the coaching end of it. I think, like any other veteran player, certainly the coaches ask your opinion on things, but I think overall I've dedicated myself to playing hockey and not being concerned about coaching right now.
Older players have become more common. Delayed retirement, attempted comebacks. Is it attention to fitness? Or Steve was asked, is it a lack of quality players in a thin league?
I'm not certain that the talent pool is any less than it was in the past, but I can tell you one thing, my game has changed. I'm not an offensive guy anymore. Not that I was anything dynamic offensively in the past, but I like to think I contributed on the odd occasion. But at this point in time, I'm really a kitty bar the door type defenseman, stay back, try to play physical in my end, and I changed my game to adapt to what's going on and what this team has needed.
And here's Calgary